In today's ninth, Appealing Maggie will try to reach back and regain some of her old form that earned her a stakes win at Monmouth last year. Play Unified is the other main track only entrant, along with Appealing Maggie. Could she take advantage of today's conditions and get her first win of 2017? Unchained Melody will be the one to catch in Saturday's Alabama. We'll have the latest on one of the deepest Alabama fields we have ever seen assembled, including the winner of Canada's first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. Holy Helena beat the boys, wanted a mile and a quarter, but now must prove she belongs with the best 3-year-old fillies back in the States. Plenty of Alabama discussion coming up on a huge weekend here at Saratoga. Welcome to Saratoga Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Getting set for a tremendous weekend coming up. Good crowd on hand to see the action today. You are joining us just in time for the starts of the late pick 4 sequence. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, Los Angeles Dodger, Paul LaDuca. We got the Alabama this weekend. We look forward to the Travers another week away, so trying to build some bankroll for 2 monster days that we have coming up here. We have a good pick 4 sequence today to do it.
Yeah, I think we can make some money, really. I mean, obviously we had some rain. The races are off the turf today here in the Saratoga area, but I think it's rain that we've needed. We haven't had much rain around here just as long as it's not nice and shiny and sunny tomorrow. So happy Alabama Eve Day, and we need to make you some money. You're right. The next 2 weekends are going to be key. Tomorrow's a giant card. Listen, we're going to get into the Alabama a little bit later, but we'll try to make you some money today.
Yeah, as Paul mentioned, we started muddy earlier on in the day. Track is now listed as good. Off the turf for the rest of the afternoon as we take a look at the races we'll be bringing you that comprise this pick 4 sequence. Starts with a maiden special weight here in the 7th. Race 850 Claimer at 7 furlongs. 9th race, what do you do in the race taken off the turf at 5.5 furlongs with 2 main track onlys in that one as well, but it might be Ela, and we'll talk about that one more. Could be the one to catch and maybe the one to beat. The nightcap to close it out. Mile and an eighth, 16,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime claiming events. Todd Pletcher will have the morning line favorite in that spot, but maybe a vulnerable morning line favorite. John Deere track conditions, as mentioned, good on the main track. No turf racing for the rest of the afternoon. Play along from home as we show you all these races. Get signed up and started. Open a Naira Bets wagering account. If you bet 200, you will get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5. You can get signed up and started all across the country with Naira Bets and play at over 200 tracks nationwide. 20 minutes to post here in the 7th coming up. We'll set the stage for that race in a moment, but all the talk, of course, about the deep, contentious group we have going postward at 1.25 miles for 3-year-old fillies in Saturday's Alabama. It is absolutely loaded, Paul. And, of course, New Money Honey, Breeders' Cup winner, leader of her division among 3-year-old fillies on the grass, now trying dirt for Chad Brown.
A filly by Medallo d'Oro that Chad has stated before. He's always tinkered with her going on in the dirt, and she's going to try the dirt for the first time. He is not worried about the 1.25 miles, but they all have to beat Unchained Melody in here for Brian Lynch and Hidden Brook Farm. The speed of the speed in here, yes, and I love the way she strided out in the Mother Goose. She was able to, no pun intended, lockdown here. And here's the thing. You wonder and you start looking at this race, are they just running around? No, they're getting away for the rest of these fillies. And, you know, she's going to be a tough customer on the front end if they give her an easy lead.
Yeah, she's going to be very dangerous. You see, as this distance at 1 mile and 1/16th there, now it was a one-turn 1 mile and 1/16th, but she looked awfully strong at the end. Her trainer, Brian Lynch, worked her with Meantime to see if she does get some company, if she can relax on the front end. So if someone does decide to go with her, they can't let her get loose, right?
Well, they can't let her get loose. And what Brian was saying was, I'm not trying to get her to relax. I'm trying to get her to relax on the front end, which she's going to need to do going 1.25 miles, especially here.
Meanwhile, Holy Helena won that first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. It was on synthetic, but she looked sensational, beating the boys and winning at 1.25 miles.
Listen, you can never take away. She sat a great trip this day, and she got the job done. The fillies do well in the Queen's Plate, and she just decimates this field. She beats them with ease. I like the way she's striding out. Listen, you don't have to worry about the 1.25 miles, right? You know she can get it. Now, the competition in Ontario is a little bit different. She's even actually getting green towards the end. I like seeing when she runs all day. this is a step up. I get it, but it's hard to throw out a horse that can win races like that. And her second career start was a good race over dirt at Belmont.
More Alabama talk coming up later on in the show. Right now, let's get to the task at hand here. The start of this late pick 4, 18 minutes to post. That is a look at the field. Distorted Admiral. Right now, he's your favorite for Carlos Martin. Tried dirt, second start of his career. Came here, Paul, at Saratoga. He faced a horse named Mr. Crow, who ran a 109 buyer in that victory.
Yeah.
He was second behind him.
Yeah, Mr. Crow had come out of a 99 buyer. Marshall Plan was the most talked about horse at Keeneland, and he got beat by Giuseppe the Great, who was second in the Jim Dandy. So Distorted Admiral then came and ran into Mr. Crow, and wow, like you said, Mr. Crow came in with a 99 buyer, ran a 109 buyer, and the public is noticing that, and he is the horse to beat in here at 2-1.
And this is a look at Distorted Admiral and that dirt debut. He'd wind up a very distant second, but to a horse who you mentioned behind him was highly regarded, and the horse in front of him is as well.
This is really scary here. Now, Mr. Crow's going to kick away from this group. Watch, he's going to have to stop right there for a split second. Now, Marshall Plan is on the outside of him. You got to give the horse credit. Mr. Crow is now gone. The Todd Pletcher runner is going to run a 109 buyer. Look at Distorted Admiral out-finish the horse on the outside of him, Marshall Plan, and the other one. I like that Paco Lopez stayed to his task and was able to out-finish the other horses. A race of his own, obviously, because Mr. Crow crushes him. But I thought it was a good effort. This horse is going to be ultra tough in here unless the 1A can show some gate speed.
There he is, a son of Admiral Alex. He'll have the inside post. Paco Lopez will be back aboard this afternoon. And right now, he is your 2-1 favorite here for the start of this pick 4, which has close to $150,000 in it. Let's check in now with Maggie Wolfendale with some other runners in this group, including one for Todd Pletcher.
And Greg, that is Commandeering here, who does come off that layoff dating back to Gulfstream Park in February. Now, he's kind of danced every dance as far as conditions of races are concerned. He's going to return to sprinting on the main track here after a somewhat disappointing effort on the turf. Now, going back 3 starts ago, yes, he did finish behind stablemate Tappert. That day, he was 1-5, and Tappert was 7-2. So, obviously, they've had some high hopes for this horse. I kind of like the turn back in distance. He's a bit on the smaller side, which is typical of these Bodemeisters, but he does come back in here off of that about 6-month layoff, looking extremely fit overall. And he kind of has that, like, middle move going longer. So, sometimes that does do well with the turn back in distance, though I hope he does get involved from the break. I don't think he can be left too far out of it with too much work to do going the 6 furlongs. Next, we'll check in with a horse that does attract Javier Castellano. That's number 5, Special Intention, a son of Medaglia d'Oro out of the mare Summer Soiree, who is very good on the turf. And I said first time out that this guy has the quintessential turf foot, those huge pie plate feet. Now they're switching him to the main track. I don't necessarily understand it. I don't really get why we're sprinting on the dirt going 6 furlongs. He looks fantastic. I mean, he's dappled head to toe. He's a bit more tucked up, but these conditions really make me scratch my head for this runner. Now, moving on to a first-time starter, that's number 3, Aggie's Honor, for trainer Mark Henning, a son of Candy Ride. This guy's very well prepared in the fitness department. He is lean. You can see every muscle throughout his body. He is very, very fit. He's relaxed enough in here. I'm also wondering, too, how cranked up he is. Is he a horse that is cranked up for the 6 furlongs? To me, physically, he might look as though he'll appreciate a little more ground as he moves forward in his career. Tom Amos and Andy are over on the set. Guys, who do you like here in this 7th race?
Well, it's sort of a hodgepodge, and it's a funny race because the favorite scratch, Tommy T, he was the horse to beat, and favoritism falls in the 2, Distorted Admiral, but this is sort of a tough horse to take at a short price, Tom, because he really didn't do any running in his last race. I'm not criticizing him. He did well to be second to a horse that ran a gigantic figure, but he sat in the rail and kind of picked up the pieces against horses who were chasing behind him. Is this really a horse you want to take a short price on?
Well, he's the obvious favorite to me. I mean, this is a horse that, okay, he got outrun in his last start, galloped out well past the wire, still had energy. Look, he was just second best that day. When you look this field over, Andy, and you try to decide who can beat him here, I think you don't really know where to land, as this horse has experience and a good race under his belt.
Well, look at the board. You've got a 9-2 and 4 5-1s. The public feels the same way. It's not a race that has any major center. The 3, Aggie's Honor, is a horse I guessed with as my top choice, and I'm happy with that because he's not 9-2, and he's going to be shorter by post time. He's the clear-cut second choice in doubles, and to me, that's a good sign because this is a horse that sort of says to you in the pedigree, and even looking at it, as Maggie was pointing out, probably wants more distance, but the money is smarter than all those things, in my opinion. And I have a feeling it's a very live first-time starter that might have found himself in the right field.
I think you hit it on the head. It's the money that's showing on the 3-horse, who's the only first-time starter in this race. Looking at his history, $430,000 Keeneland September yearling. Obviously was a good-looking horse then. He's grown up to be a good-looking horse as he gets ready to make his debut today.
Yeah, he's dangerous. Now, the 7 Commandeering is the kind of horse that people are looking at as the Pletcher security blanket. They don't know where to go, and they go, hey, Todd Pletcher's got one. Well, let's go and look at that race at Gulfstream Park West where he's second to Tapper. And that was the one race he ran that was okay. The third-place finisher, albeit beating a pole, if you want to get familiar with him, turn your PPs to today's 10th race. He's the third choice in the $16,000 claimer. He broke his maiden 8 starts later for $20,000. Where's this horse been, and isn't he going to be awfully far back early?
Well, I think you missed the most important part of this race. Commandeering was challenged throughout the race by different horses. Early on in the race, he got challenged by Stun, and as soon as that horse was put away by Commandeering, Golden Diamond came along, took him on then, and if that's not enough, he's got to take on the Belmont Stakes winner Tappert at the end of the race, and he gets outrun, but holds on gamely after those challenges. Look, there's only so much gas in the tank for these horses, and he used a lot of gas fighting off those first 2 horses.
Yeah, but there was a slow pace, and if you look at the pace relative to the final time, it's hard to be overly impressed, at least by me. I know he lost the Belmont winner, but he was 1-5.
1-5 that day, but look who beat him. It wasn't just
I know.
That horse should have been 1-5.
Look who was third, Mr. Hayes. How about the money for the 1A Old Dubai in here?
Now
Do people
you're
not
talking
know the 1 is scratched?
Now you're talking my topic
You like
here.
this
I like
horse?
the 1A. Let's talk about the 1A Old Dubai, who gets blinkers on today. You see the blinkers on him there. I think this horse tries to show speed today, and that's a good move because we've got a very important scratch in the other half of the entry, fully vested, the 1 horse, who I think would have been the speed in this race. I think Old Dubai has a chance to go out there and set the pace here. If you look at his last race, it was one of those races where he was not going to get there. The last 16th of a mile or so, Lascano did not persevere with this horse, the 1A Old Dubai. I think he's a factor today, and I like his price.
I don't like him at all. Out Malibu Actions fastened him early, and I don't think he's shown a thing in either of his 2 starts. We differ in opinion there. The 6-horse Arch Daddy, that's one, if I was taking a shot, would improve, switching to Manny Franco for his second start for Shug.
Well, look, the first time this horse ran didn't show anything, but a lot of times horses need that experience of a race to put in their best effort, and you see it out of that barn a bunch.
And it was a race that was dominated on the front end, Paul.
Yeah, and listen, this is a pick 4. I think you can make a little bit of money. I'm going to go deep 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. I don't use Andy's first-time starter. You know, I originally had the race as an all, but I'm with the 7. To me is the key to this race because I don't know what to do. You know, Stone Street doesn't need a horse like this. They've checked off all the boxes with the 7. Why is he back in? He must be doing great. That would be my angle. 3 and 6. I love Luna to look. I think that horse gets a beautiful setup today, but I think Alex the Terror improves so much with blinkers. Race 9, do not leave out the Dewayne Lucas runner, My Sweet Stella from the rail. That horse is going to be rolling late. And on race number 10, I have looked over and over and over. I think Prize Fight is the horse to beat, but I'm telling you right now, do not leave out the Finger Lake Shipper Holy Week.
I'd agree with you. You are leaving out that man's horse, Sanavi Todd Pletcher, which I think a lot of people say, you know, I might try and let Sanavi beat me in there. Dropping into the lowest level that horse has run yet. That's in the nightcap for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, you go back and you watch that horse's races, and I still can't believe he won first time out, and not for me.
All right, so that is Paul's pick 4. This pick 4 sequence begins right here. Pool up and over. $200,000 as we hear the call to post from Sam the Bugler. And we're going to see the remaining half of the entry in here first. Blinkers going on this afternoon, as Tom Amos told us, on the 1A Old Dubai for Godolphin Racing. Kieran McLaughlin, Jose Lascano aboard.
If those blinkers contain an engine, perhaps they can get a horse that's really shown little despite being bet in both of his starts.
Distorted Admiral, without question, the horse to beat here in this spot. Paco Lopez for Carlos Martin.
Agreed. Second best last time at this class in distance. That's why he is our 9-5 favorite.
Aggie's Honor, first-time starter, went for $430,000 at the Keeneland September yearling sale of last year, trained by Mark Hennig.
Look for late money on a first-time starter that's second choice in the doubles.
9-2 on the firster. Special Intention is the 5. Javier Castellano for trainer Mark Reed. Actually debuted on the grass, but been working sharp at Delaware on the dirt.
The dam was very good on the turf, not good on the dirt. Maybe it's a wise guy move. Maybe it's an act of desperation.
5-1 on Special Intention. Arch Daddy is the 6. It's Manny Franco for Shug McGahee, second time out.
Broke poorly in his debut and never got into the race. This horse will improve with that experience.
Commandeering for Todd Pletcher. Again, was second to Tappert in the 3rd start of his career. It's John Velasquez aboard.
Favored in his debut at Saratoga last summer. Now comes off a 6-month layoff. Last time he ran was long on the grass.
And Malibu Action, speed on the outside for trainer Timothy Hills. Jose Ortiz aboard.
Yeah, with the scratch of the 1 fully vested and the outside post, I think this is a horse that's going to try to go wire to wire.
That is your field for race 7 here as we get a look again at the 5. Special Intention. This horse here, son of Medaglia d'Oro, debuted on the grass, and now it's dirt for the 2nd start. Standing by with his trainer. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Standing by Mark Reed, that sends out Special Intention. And, well, what was the intention? Were you trying to get this horse to the turf and didn't work out, and now to the dirt? What was the story behind this one?
What exactly happened was he was kind of a big dummy, a baby Huey type, and he just trained average. So I took the first shot at the race that came up. He has a pedigree for turf, but he missed a break last time, and that kind of stopped any thoughts we had about it. Since that race, it seems like the light bulb's gone off. You know, he has some real fast black letter works. He worked 46 a couple of weeks ago and galloped out 58 and changed. I went, whoa, where'd he come from? So I decided to truck up the highway and try him again.
So you obviously have confidence in this horse. How do you think he's going to fare on the main track? Do you think he'll show a little bit more gate speed today with a cleaner break?
I would hope so. We brought him up a few days ago to let him get used to everything, walked him through the paddock. He seemed to handle everything good. I'm not sure how he'll handle the moisture. You know, he's got those big pie plates for feet. I'm just not certain whether the moisture will cause him some trouble. But other than that, I think he fits.
Well, you attracted a Hall of Fame rider in Javier Castellano. Talk a little bit about that. Must give you a little bit more confidence.
Yeah. You know, all the fellas down there, can we go up? Can we go up? I said, nah, there's some guys up there that I think would fit the horse better. And Javier's agent's an old friend of mine from way back. And I called him up and said, I got one I think's okay. And he said, I'll take you at your word, Mark. And here he is.
All right. Well, best of luck here, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, going from turf to dirt, out of a Grade 1 winner on the turf, but good luck with Special Intention, who makes his way forward here.
Gabby, thanks. Out of the War from Mayor Summer Soiree, by the way, who won the Del Mar Oaks. That race, 14-horse field in that race this weekend at Del Mar. There's a look at Malibu Action. Can this son of Malibu Moon clear, get the lead, and keep on going under Jose Ortiz? We will find out. Start of the Pick 4 is coming up next.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
You're watching Saratoga Live on MSG Plus, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, and Fox Sports San Diego. Thanks for being with us here on this Friday afternoon, getting set for the start of a late pick for our afternoon. Before we came on air, started with a muddy racetrack. It has since been upgraded to good on the main. Of course, we're off the turf with more on the track condition for today. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, it very much is a good track. There really isn't that much moisture left in the harrowed strip of this track at all. They've done an excellent job. And, you know, sometimes good tracks can be a bit deeper and tiring. And this one, at least under Q's feet, certainly does not feel that way. It's light, it's fluffy, it's a good surface. And to follow up on Gabby's interview with trainer Mark Reed, taking a look at number 4 in here, that is Special Intention. You know, he got a nice warm-up from jockey Javier Castellano, and he really kind of looked good over this surface. I still think he might be more of a turf horse, but if his trainer says that he's showing him that he can handle the dirt in the morning, then all power to him, because in the warm-ups, he's worn me over just a bit. Now, another one that got an aggressive warm-up was number 7. That's Commandeering, coming off that layoff. And a lot of times with layoff horses, we will see fresh horses, and fresh horses are usually energetic ones, and he was just that under Johnny V. He certainly took a little bit of hold, head up in the air, pretty aggressive. He got a good gallop under him, kind of got that nervous energy out. Johnny did a lot of jogging with him since he's been on the backside here, and I think Johnny is saying, hey, dude, we got a break here going the 6 furlongs. Let's get involved early. He's giving me every sign that he can do that here, Greg.
And there is John Velasquez in those gold burgundy silks of Stone Street Stables on Commandeering. 5-1 on the board. We'll see. Did the freshening make a difference here with this horse? We will find out.
Like I said, this horse sprinted on the dirt, gone long on the dirt twice. Went back to sprinting on the dirt, went long on turf. The only thing they have not tried is sprinting on the turf, which is not in his future for $340,000. So why has Stone Street not dropped this horse? I don't know. You know, maybe they keep looking at that race for Taprip, but this seems like a horse here at Saratoga that you would drop. So I gave the horse another shot. Now my selection's the 6. I like Arch Daddy. I think this horse is a half. You could have some horses that are some good dams. We talk about Dubai Escabade, the 1A, the dam of that horse, Summer Soiree. African Jade through Lord Nelson, who's a champion sprinter for, or half the Jordan Lord Nelson. So champion sprinter for Bob Baffert. I think the 6 is going to improve.
6-1 on the 6 right there. Arch Daddy, it's Manny Franco who will be aboard. Andy Maggie liked the look of the 5, how Special Intention was warming up on the main track. What are your thoughts?
I have no idea. I mean, it's sort of a guess. I can understand why somebody would want to guess this horse. The horse is working fast. They shipped it up here. Did no running on the turf, but it really has a turf pedigree, Tom.
But it's a very good pedigree. And
yes,
oftentimes horses run to their very good pedigree, whether it's dirt or turf, no matter which way it slants. I like those last 2 works from Delaware. They're both very, very fast works on the dirt, obviously, for this horse. And like you, it's a roll of the dice here.
The race is a crapshoot. I mean, look at the board. The board has basically not changed since we talked before. The 2 is the favorite because he should be favored, and everybody else is taking some dribs and drabs, but nobody's taking any significant money.
Well, it's a crapshoot if you don't think Distorted Admiral is going to win this race. He right now is a 9-5 favorite.
The key's the 1A. I think Tom has it. I'm telling you, the 1A's got a ton of speed. I know the 8 does. The 1A breaks today. That horse is going to be on the engine. If that quickens up the pace, you might see some horses from the back, and the race could fall apart.
Yeah, watch those 2 early. We know the 8 game plan obviously get to the front, but yeah, with the 1A blinkers on, you would think it means send this afternoon. So how will that play out early on here in this 7th race? It's the start of the late pick 4, up and over $440,000 in the pool. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Arch Daddy will be the next one to go into the starting gate here. Distorted Admiral is holding sway as the 8-5 favorite on the board, as Arch Daddy is not quite in there yet. Still with some issues here getting Arch Daddy to move into the starting gate. Arch Daddy has come forward now. Here's Old Dubai. Waiting for commandeering and Malibu action. Commandeering going in. Malibu action will be the last one. Stepping forward. Goes in. They're all in line. They're off. Malibu action on the far outside from the rail. Distorted Admiral. These two 1-2 up the backstretch. Old Dubai came out running in third. Commandeering is fourth on the outside, 4 lengths off the lead, then back to Aggie's Honor, and then Arch Daddy, and far behind early is Special Intention, who's well out of the race here. More than 15 lengths off of front-running Malibu Action, who goes by the half-mile pole and through a quarter of 22.98 seconds with a 3/4 length lead. Old Dubai is second. Commandeering goes up on the outside third. Distorted Admiral back running in fourth along the rail, now 2 lengths off the lead. Then it's Aggie's Honor to the outside, followed by Arch Daddy, who's under a drive, second last, and a long way back to Special Intention as they come toward the top of the stretch. Old Dubai holding sway over Commandeering after a 45.96 half. Into the stretch, Old Dubai by 2.5. Commandeering is running in second. Distorted Admiral is getting going on the outside, but far behind. And then Malibu Action down toward the rail. Old Dubai and Jose Lezcano still going strong. Commandeering trying to cut into the gap late. Running out of time and ground as Old Dubai holds on a half a length. Commandeering came too late. Then it was Malibu Action and Distorted Admiral in 1:10.07.
Old Dubai blinkers on and wins at 7-1 to start off this late pick 4.
Well, he didn't break well again, but he ran like his mama, Dubai Escapade, who was the ballerina winner. And I'll tell you what, he was the best here. He broke a little bit, flat-footed, was able to rate 3 wide, and was able to put away the 7 at the top of the lane, who fought on gamely here.
Yeah, this horse was just much the best. I mean, really done no running in his first 2 races, but put the blinkers on, and a different horse today, Tom.
No, much different horse today, and literally put this field away in the first half a mile. I know you're going to get a late run from the Pletcher horse Commandeering at the end of this race, but this race was over after the first half a mile, Andy.
1A 7-8-2, and the equipment change here, and the Old Dubai wakes up. And, you know, he did show some talent in that race. He had issues at the start. As you mentioned, he had them again here, but he really had his running shoes on today.
Yeah, he did. He had his running shoes on today. It just makes you wonder how much Tommy T would have won this race. Tommy T had so much trouble in that last race. He was able to run second, and he was scratched out of this race. I would think the people that own Tommy T are excited that Old Dubai ran this good.
Let's get to Maggie. She's standing by with Jose Lezcano.
And the addition of blinkers, Jose, you rode this horse last time. How much of a difference did this equipment make today?
Well, it make a big difference. Last time he jumped out of the gates, he jumped up a little bit, you know, and I think it cost a lot of the race. And today with the blinker, like you said, it's a different horse. He broke, he put himself in a good position, and when I ask him, he go on.
He seemed like a pretty fast horse, setting the pace all the way around there. Do you think, I mean, obviously the 7 was getting to you a little bit, but is he just an out-and-out sprinter?
Yeah, I think he's be a very good horse, you know what I mean? Like, the only thing is relaxed, you know.
Well, looks like he relaxed pretty good for you today. All right, Jose, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Greg, back to you. Thanks, Jose.
Maggie, thanks. Well done. Old Dubai kicks off this late pick 4 at 7-1. Third time the charm to get that maiden win under his belt here for the son of Tappet for Godolphin Racing and Kieran McLaughlin. Here's a look at Luna Del Loco, one of the key players coming up next in the 8th race. Ran out of running room last time out, gets an extra half furlong today. Will that be the difference for a W? We'll be back.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. Naira Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NairaBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, the blinkers go on for Old Dubai, and third time out, he gets into the winner's circle here. Returns $16.20 for the win. Commandeering Malibu Action. Round out your trifecta. Let's send it downstairs to the winner's circle with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Standing by with Kieran McLaughlin. And this horse, he didn't break too well last time out coming out of the gate, Kieran. Was that kind of the idea behind putting the blinkers on him today?
Well, we bat at a high batting average when we put blinkers on, and we weren't real high on him, so we put blinkers on, and it helped today.
And talk a little bit about his gate speed, too. He's a horse, at least today, that shot out of the gate unlike last time.
Yes, he broke very well, and Jose rode him very well. The blinkers obviously helped, and it was a good spot, and I think he liked the ground, a little wet.
He's a horse who has been training in the morning at Green Tree. And Kieran, this is, for viewers who don't know, is a private training facility on the backstretch here at Saratoga. Talk a little bit about the facility and what kind of options you have training horses there.
Well, it's great. It's a poly track, and we're able to train right-handed if we think that they're better going right-handed, even though we run them all left-handed. So, and it's private back there for some of the tappets that are tough to train. So it's a great facility, and it's a privilege to be there.
And this tappet probably being one of them. Am I correct?
Yeah, and he's not too bad, but he just feels like there's always more in the tank. So I think that blinkers helped today.
All right. Well, congratulations here, Kieran.
Thank you very much.
All right. Back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. Kieran McLaughlin continues an outstanding meeting, winning at better than 24% now at the meet. He's had some great horses growing up in the heart of horse country. Being a part of the game for Kieran was a no-brainer.
I am Kieran McLaughlin.
But Frosted has won with ease in the Whitney.
I am a thoroughbred horse trainer. I'm
from Lexington, Kentucky, and it was either basketball or horse racing. And luckily I wasn't very good at basketball, so my best friend was Greg Burchell. And at like 10, 11 years old, I started going out with him on the weekends, and his father was an owner at that time. He started training a few years later. But I got the bug because of Keeneland, the sales, seeing $1 million horses sell, and the races, and I just loved it. And when I was 12 years old, 7th grade, I wrote a paper that I wanted to be a horse trainer like Charlie Whittingham when I grew up. So I really am living my dream. Dewayne Lucas was a great coach, teacher, mentor, and I do everything pretty much based on learning from him. I was only 23 years old, 24 years old when I went to work for him, and basically the feed program, the white bridles, his thought process. I don't get up quite as early as he does every morning. I give him all the credit in the world because he was a great teacher. So it was our best year probably ever to win over $10 million in purses and all those grade ones, and cavorting was probably the best filly I've ever trained.
What a finish! It's cavorting!
And then Frosted, one of the best horses I've ever trained.
Oh my goodness, look at Frosted today!
He's the fastest horse that the Met Mile in -2 1/4 is the fastest Radisson number that I've ever had a horse run.
Frosted is absolutely roughed in the Met Mile. They were a mile behind him.
You're proud to have a -2 1/4, especially going to studs and stallions nowadays. People look at those numbers and you can advertise them. So it was fabulous. It was an unbelievable performance.
Horace says go with Invasor, and they are impressive. They are awesome. Invasor.
He started with Pimlico Special, never lost again. I never had so much confidence in a horse. Just get him in the starting gate and he'll get to the finish line first. He was a really special horse. I don't bet that often, but any carryover pick sixes, I'll get involved because there's so much money of other people's in there. And then I bet small. My kids like to bet, so I'm always handicapping it. We are betting a little bit when there's value. So I've hit a couple of pick sixes, not this year. I haven't played very many, but in the past I've hit a small percentage of some pretty big ones. The biggest being 800,000, but I only had 5%. My wife is of 33 years, is John Hennig's daughter, Letty, and her brother's Mark Hennig. So she knows the business very well, and she loves our business. Luckily for me, she understands it. And then my daughter Erin is 26, and she works at the Breeders' Cup in Lexington, Kentucky, and she loves what she does. And my son now is working for Merrill Lynch in Manhattan, and he only liked to bet on him. He wasn't too much into getting up too early and coming out, but he likes reading sheets and handicapping too, and hopefully he'll be an owner one day. Multiple sclerosis, I was diagnosed in October 1998, so we're almost 19 years of having it, but it really hasn't affected me much on the racetrack. My vision is great, my mind's great, and I pick all the spots for the horses, and we go over the training of every horse every day, and so really it hasn't affected me much, except I don't walk well, and I don't saddle the horses, and I don't golf anymore. So poker, luckily I don't have to be very active. MS, I have, but it doesn't have me.
Well, one of the good guys in this game certainly is a class act individual. Look at his resume and what he has accomplished. Over 1,400 career wins.
Yeah, he really is. Not a more accommodating trainer, not a more a guy that you want to root for. He really is a great person, and Lexington is his home. And when he comes to Keeneland, he has joy, but he has joy here too at Saratoga. He's the kind of guy that has success at the bigger type of meets, and the kind of guy that warrants that type of success, because when you're a good person, good things happen.
Absolutely. We're going to show you some racing from earlier this afternoon here. We had a stakes race, race 4 on the card. It was for 2-year-olds, 5.5 furlongs. Of course, it was taken off the turf. The Skidmore, and we saw Flame Away here for Mark Cassidy, who debuted on synthetic at Woodbine back in May. Was a winner in that first out effort at odds on. Run a big effort sliding down to the rail here.
Yeah, you can see that's a 7. And the outside horses, 6, Dial 1, and El Dolce were way on the outside, but Flame Away and Castellano, colt by Scat Daddy here that actually broke his maiden up at Woodbine at 4.5 furlongs, is going to get the job done. And he has a future here. This is the horse that's going to go long and Ontario bred, and you can see the Cassies are liking it. Ah, what a beautiful sight that is right there. And Javier Castellano with the W. This is a horse you'll probably see back up at Woodbine. You can see in a lot of different places, but a nice-looking 2-year-old.
How about that barn turning things around?
Yes.
4-star Dave kind of changed everything for them.
Yeah, it really did. You know, those are kind of barns you just can't. You know, I always tell everybody, once a 300 hitter, always a 300 hitter. So, you know, Mark Cassie, I know that the numbers are down, but they're going to start creeping back up to
averages, absolutely going to get right back. And they actually thought about scratching world approval from that 4-star Dave as close as 2 hours before the start of that race. Good move to keep that one in and collect a Grade 1 win. $50,000 claiming race coming up next here in race 8. It's 7/8 of a mile. We'll talk more about that field in a moment. We want to remind everybody to get involved with this Saratoga Showdown online contest. Risk none of your own money. It's a mythical bankroll, and you can win 50,000 Naira Bets points in your account, the equivalent to 50 wagering dollars, and win an entry into a 2018 Belmont Stakes prize package, and also get introduced into how to play and wager if you're new to the game.
Yeah, it's a really cool venue to go check out. And like you said, it's free. Free 99 is the key word. And Andy Serling hit the board yesterday. Again, we are not allowed to take the prizes, everybody on Twitter.
SaratogaShowdown.com is where you go, or Naira.com, and you can play that Saratoga Showdown contest. We will have the 8th post parade coming up when we return here on Saratoga Live.
Claiborne Farm presents Trap Shot. This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer is now an emerging young sire. His top runners include Fish Trap Road, winner of the Grade 3 Dwyer Stakes, plus 2-year-old stakes winner Mirai, graded stakes place Quick Release, and Grade 1 performers My Man Sam and Wild Shot. Already ranked among the nation's leading sires of 2-year-old winners, Trap Shot has the speed, the class, and the pedigree to remain Tappett's top sign. Trap Shot at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. Naira Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NairaBets.com. Bet the Naira Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NairaBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Naira track or New York OTB location. Naira Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
You're watching Saratoga Live. on MSG Plus, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, and Fox Sports San Diego. Good to have you here as we take a look at the beautiful surroundings of Saratoga Springs at the premier race meet in all the country. Time for what's trending in horse racing, and this is sensational news. Of course, we're going to see Songbird August 26 here at Saratoga in the personal ensign. Incredible, fantastic, wonderful news from Fox Hill Farm. Owner Rick Porter is cancer-free, the owner of Songbird, so we hope to have him out here. Sincerest congratulations to Rick Porter. This from Steve Haskin for being cancer-free and in total remission. It's going to be a great personal ensign, win or lose. Absolutely no question.
That's a nail-on-head tweet of the week. And Mr. Porter, the owner of Fox Hill Farms, awesome, awesome news. Anybody that's been touched with cancer or hurt by cancer, me being one of them, that is phenomenal news. And to get to see the great Songbird ourselves is cool for us. And we thank you for bringing him here to Saratoga, or bringing her to Saratoga.
Yeah, we had Rick Porter on our show earlier in this meet when Songbird went to Delaware for the Delaware Handicap, and he made it out then, and now he'll be able to make it out with even better news, completely cancer-free and in remission. It's from Shea Leperoux, getting a lesson from one of the best, Hall of Famer John Velasquez.
I'm taking this personal if I'm Julian. Hey, you don't get writing lessons from somebody else. My father's better than you.
Young Mitchell Leperoux. Hey, it can't hurt to get a few different opinions. Why not?
It.
Get social with us. Be sure to use the hashtag Saratoga Live when you get involved, and maybe we'll get you to be part of the show as well. We're 14 minutes to post here in race 8, $50,000 claiming race. 7/8 of a mile coming up in this spot, and our favorite right now is the 6. That is Alex the Terror, but a lot of ways to go here in this 8th race. Let's send it downstairs to Maggie.
Greg, that's exactly right, and that's often the case with these open 50 claimers. You get some horses with some backlash. You get some horses that are just thriving right now, and we'll check in with one that is second off the claim here for trainer David Canizzo. That is number 3, Luna De Loca, who, as far as I'm concerned, has put on some muscle weight, does look very good here. The problem with him is the distance for me. He does look like a more out-and-out honestly, 6 furlong horse. I know he has some races going longer that make him competitive. I know he's one going longer, but against this field, I don't know. Maybe he does hit the right kind of trip and he's able to pounce. And like I said, he does look as though he's doing well for his new barn. Moving on to number 7, Bluegrass Singer. This horse looks fantastic. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Bluegrass Singer here. He's carrying his weight well. He's a big, good-looking gray son of Bluegrass Cat, and look, his last best race was when he was sent to the lead here. I know Gabby Gaudet is going to have an interview with his trainer, Dale Roman, so maybe she can inquire about their plans with this horse from the gate, but I'd love to see him aggressively handled in this spot. I'm liking the 7/8 for this guy if he does leave there running. And then we'll check in with the outside runner. That is Carve. Now, the last time Carve ran for a claiming tag was in his debut when he ran a maiden 30 going a mile and a 16th back in 2013. Yet when he was gone out for Steve Asmussen, this is the first time they're running him for that claiming tag. So looking at Carve, I like him. He checks every box as far as the individual department is concerned. He's well conditioned. His coat looks fantastic. It's the turn back and distance. Now, oftentimes turnbacks, they do work, especially with some drop in class, but he physically does look like one that should relish going a bit longer. So we'll see how he negotiates the 7 furlongs. But Andy and Tom, want to check in with you in regards to Bluegrass Singer. What do you think this guy's best option here is from the starting stalls?
Well, it wouldn't be rating a speed horse, Tom. If he was your horse, I imagine you'd be setting him the lead. He's been in over his head in his last 2 starts. He ran well 2 back. I think he's the main speed, and he's supposed to try to wire him.
And that's how he does it. You go look 3 back, you're looking at him right there, and this is exactly what he does, Bluegrass Singer, on this particular day. He actually made a pretty easy lead, even though he's got another horse alongside of him there, and he's got plenty left for the end. He would love it if he could have that kind of trip today.
And the horse he beat in there was a horse named Rally Cry, who's going to be 2nd or 3rd choice in the Woodward coming up here in a couple of weeks. I think he's a player. The drop down may be a bit of concern, but we'll see if he can shake loose. But Alex the Terror inside of him obviously showed a lot of speed last time, and you imagine Jose Ortiz won't be unaggressive with him, and that's the 6, Alex the Terror inside of him. My problem is he rode the goldest gold rails last time to victory, and it's a much different racetrack today.
You know, we just watched Old Dubai win with blinkers on. Alex the Terror, last race, that's how he wins. First time blinkers, last time was a big improvement for Alex the Terror. Comes back again today, basically in the same kind of field. He's another that really, I think, wants to be prominent and up front early.
Yeah, well, we'll see how up front he is, and we'll see what happens with him and Bluegrass Singer. He's moving up a little bit, and Bluegrass Singer's dropping a little bit. Obviously, the 2 shuffle up comes out of that race, and it was kind of a merry-go-round race. They ran 1-2. Shuffle up, to me, Tom's a horse that looks better than he is. Those races he won in New York, he was either on an inside speed-favoring track or he was lone speed setting slow paces.
I guess we're going to disagree again, Andy. That's
like
2 races in a row. So Shuffle Up, to me, I like this horse at this distance. I think he's better at this middle distance than in some of his other races. He was favored last time, claimed, of course. He chased the winner all the way around there and was clearly the second best that day. I think he gets a better trip today to maybe pounce on those horses.
The good news for you is I don't like him even a little bit. I do like Luna DeLoca a little bit, and here, you know, he looks good to me. I thought he was closing into a race that was wired last time out. Second off the claim for Dave Canizzo. We know he can handle the distance. I think he looks fine. Here's his race. This is his race last time when he finished second behind Brimstone. I mean, he's the one that made the best move in that race. That was a pretty good race. I just think he's a player in here. I don't have a strong opinion.
Yeah, look, a wide move. But, you know, you taught me wide moves oftentimes at Belmont are good moves. Yeah. But it is a wide move. He's second best that day. This race, as we've looked at some of these horses and talked about their pluses and minuses, I hate to not have a strong opinion on a specific race, but it could go a lot of different ways.
I completely agree with you, Tom. I think this race is absolutely wide open. We didn't even talk about Pete's play call yet.
Yeah, it's wide open. The board reflects that, Paul. That Luna DeLoca race we just showed you there, you could say, well, he's going to get an extra half furlong to try and run down whoever is in front. But the horse he just nosed out for second in that race, that horse actually, yeah, he won next time out. He dropped down to win for 25 at Del Mar.
Los Barachos.
Here comes our post-parade. Pete's play call will kick things off for Robertino Diodoro with Angel Arroyo.
And don't dismiss this horse. His last 2 races were good. And the last one at Parks, he had a little trouble. A player here at 7-2.
Shuffle Up is the 2. David Jacobson first off the claim with that Rat Ortiz Jr. in the irons.
I think he's a horse who's dressed up by circumstance and not good enough to win.
Here's a look at Luna DeLoca. David Canizzo second off the claim with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Rider change, and I thought maybe handled with care last time and just sort of ran around there to Brimstone, who was the lone leader. He's going to get some pace to run into today. I like this horse.
Chris Engelhardt trains Captain Moss. It's Manny Franco aboard, turf to dirt.
The rank outsider in this field. He just seems to not have found his form since coming off the layoff, and he's probably better on turf than dirt.
Here is Alex the Terror. As Tom Amos mentioned, the blinkers went on last start, went gate to wire for a win at Saratoga.
He did, but he was riding a very strong inside speed bias, and you're supposed to bet against those horses coming back, especially at short prices.
Here's Bluegrass Singer. He is quick for Dale Romans. He comes out of a grade 2. Luis Saya is aboard for Cross Sabres Farm.
And quick is an understatement. This gray is going to blast out of there. Out of the 14-hole last time, out-footed Masochistic and Limousine Liberal and got to the front end. The speed of the speed in here.
And here is for trainer Steve Asmussen. Joel Rosario aboard for Michael Langford.
Bit of a wild card, cutting back a distance. I like a turn back. He's going to have to improve off his recent races, however.
Carve, of course, a son of First Samurai. He was bred at Claiborne Farm, and there is a look at First Samurai, the son of Giants Causeway, won the Champagne, and a hopeful as a 2-year-old, frolicking there in Paris, Kentucky on the farm. He was a runner-up for the Eclipse Award as a 2-year-old. Came back as a 3-year-old, won the Fountain of Youth, the first Stormcat line stallion to stand at Claiborne Farm. And he has produced Grade 1 winners on both coasts, including Lee, who set a track record in the Dawn Handicap back in 2014, and Justin Phillip.
He's turned out to be a nice little sire, and there you see, gosh, sometimes you look at him and you watch some of the video and you're like, can I be First Samurai for a day?
It looks pretty nice out there,
Yeah,
doesn't
right?
it? Well, Paul talked about the speed of Bluegrass Singer. Is going to break right next door to this horse right here. That is Carr. Bluegrass Singer, though, very, very quick. With more, let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. And standing with Dale Romans, who sends out Bluegrass Singer. So why don't we just go to the source itself? Dale, what's the tactic for this horse today?
I told him to try to open up 2 till the 16th pole and then open up 3 more. And we'll see if he said it's no problem, and so we'll see what he can do.
And he's a horse that obviously has a lot of natural speed. He doesn't have a lot of experience on a wet track, though, Dale. And last time out, well, it was a completely different caliber of horse. How do you think he's going to handle it today?
You know, I think this track is very good for all the rain we've had. I don't think it's that wet, so I think he'll be fine over it. I mean, they've heralded it, and the jockey earlier told me that it's as good as it's been all meet.
Now, I believe it was the 14th, so a couple days ago, was your birthday. Yeah. You got off the dock on your birthday. How was that?
That was pretty fun. We had a great day that day. I had all the family with me, and it's always nice to win here. I think this is the 25th year in a row that we've been able to win one race. So as it gets older and older, it gets more important not to walk away with a duck.
Is it kind of a breath of fresh air, though, get that weight off your shoulders that now that's behind you? You have another win in your belt here 25 years later?
I was walking a little taller the next morning, and then we came back and won another one, and then hopefully we'll have a few more before we get to the end, and then we've got the hopeful to look forward to with Free Drop Billy, and could end the meet real well.
All right, well, good start so far, and best of luck here, Dale.
Thank you.
All right, Greg. Well, I think Bluegrass Singer wants to stay clean today.
Yeah, it's going to be dirt flying from behind him, going in everybody else's face because he is fast. Andy mentioned that win over Rally Cry 3 starts back. That was at a mile distance at Gulfstream, and that horse just ran a freakish performance.
Well, here's what happens now.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Bluegrass Singer's very fast. Alex Terror obviously got left and showed a ton of pace when putting the blinkers on. And what happens with Shuffle Up? What happened with Pete's play call? You know, if the 7's able to clear these horses, obviously he's a major player. I just look back to that race against the Truth Thorells, 2 back of the Sheriff Shackleton. I thought he fought on pretty good, and he tried to rate him that day. They're going today.
3-1. This horse at 3-1 as well. That is Alex the Terror. He got the lead last time when he put the blinkers on. It might be a little more difficult to try and get to the front today with Bluegrass Singer, the 7, to his outside. We will see how it plays out. But this horse right here still favored with the fact that he won at Saratoga back on July 22nd. But it's going to be a tough ball game for him this afternoon to get to the front. Going to take a break. We'll be back. More Saratoga Live on the way next.
The world's #1 sire of 2-year-olds, Warfront, continues to command top prices with yearlings this year, bringing up to $1.9 million. On the track, Warfront has sired recent Grade 1 winner Avenge, Grade 1 victors Brave Anna, and graded stakes winning juveniles in France, England, and Ireland, Roly Poly, War Decree, and Intelligence Cross. A leading sire on all fronts, from Paris, Kentucky to Paris, France. Claiborne Farms, Warfront.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Welcome to Saratoga Live, and those just joining us on Fox Sports 2 and Altitude Network. The show is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We're a minute to post in race 8 coming up. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, Los Angeles Dodger, Paul LaDuca. And right now, you know, we were talking before these two audiences at Fox and Altitude joined us about all the speed with the 7. I think we saw him as high at 5 or 6 to 1 on the board. He's the 5 to 2 favorite right now.
Yeah, look for the gray on the outside, right in front of the 8 horse here, right there, and on your screen. That's the fastest horse in here, and look for him to show his natural speed.
Well, with more on the 2 speedsters here in this race, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And they got the warm-ups that you would like and expect to see from horses that have speed. But the one that kind of took me the most was number 6 in here. That is Alex the Terror beneath Jose Ortiz. I love the way this guy got over this track. He bowed his head really nicely on the bridle, but not too aggressive. I really like what I'm seeing from Alex the Terror here for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt as we are circling as we'll head back the chute here for this 7-8 start. Now, Bluegrass Singer is a very fast horse, as we've all been saying. He's pumped up. He is ready to go. He got a warm-up away from the pony here beneath Luis Saez, and he's gotten a little bit hot, but like I said, that's okay for horses who have speed, so it doesn't bother me too much. But he did gallop over here very aggressively, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. And, you know, with Alex the Terrors, we look at the horse we think is going to be the quickest in here. The 6 horse, even though he went gate to wire, adding blinkers last start, he's shown an ability to sit and stalk just off the pace a little bit, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he can, and I'm not saying he can't win, but he is a horse that's very much dressed up off of the fact that he was riding a strong rail. I'm not going to be shocked, like Tom said, if anybody wins this race. I just think he's overbet because that performance looks better than it is. That's all.
But Greg brings up a good point. That's what makes him attractive. He does have what we like to call tactical speed, the ability to sit off if he has to. He's not one-dimensional, and that's the problem with Bluegrass Singer. He is one-dimensional, so you have to be careful of how you play him. But don't get me wrong. He's the quickest of this group.
Yeah, he's the fastest. The thing about Alex Terra is the rest of his recent form is pretty in and out, to say the least. Doesn't mean he can't win.
Well, look, he got taken over by a new trainer in his last 2 starts. He's moved up nicely, owned by our friend Ron Palucci of Lucha Racing. Got to give him a shout-out.
Absolutely. Well, he's one of your owners. You got to be nice to all your owners. The one Pete's play call we have not talked about. I'll tell you what worries me about him. He's a little chilly on the board, Pete's play call. And the Diodoro horses, generally when they're live, they're taking a lot of tote action.
Yeah, look, so how about his last race at Parks, which is a 2-turn race? How does that equate to shortening up to a 1-turn 7/8 race? And a race that was weird to look at when you watched. It didn't look like it was much of a group behind him. He drifts off the rail pretty good. You know, I guess he's just the best of a group at Parks that day.
It's almost like he was really cranked up to win that day at Belmont against a tough field. And I agree. I didn't like his last race. I don't love the field he ran against. But, you know, it's sort of like you said before. You go through this race and you can say, I could bet this horse for this reason. I could bet against this horse for this reason. And that's why it's a competitive field, and the board suggests it.
Well, we'll see what happens here coming up. It's still 5 to 2 favoritism now on Bluegrass Singer. But, yeah, to Andy's point, you look at this board, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 3 to 1. Really only the 4 being dismissed in here. Everybody else being given a shot to win here.
Yeah, it's a wide open board. Look for a lot of horses to shoot towards the lead in here, the 7, even the 2. Look for the 1 and the 3 late in this race. I think the 6 is the horse. 1, 3, and 8. Carve will be coming late, that horse on your screen. The 6 is the fringe horse. Where does he sit in the whole scheme of things?
Yeah, this horse right here for Steve Asmussen. Carve, been a long time since he's visited the winner's circle, and he will no doubt be making a run from off the pace. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Colmus with the call, race 8, Saratoga.
They're on in line. They're off. Bluegrass Singer comes out running. Pete's play call on the inside, Captain Moss, and right up there too, Luna de Loco. Alex the Terror is sent along on the outside of horses, and then a gap of another 4 lengths more back to Shuffle Up and Carve. So up the backstretch they go, Bluegrass Singer in front. Alex the Terror now a neck back on the outside. Second, Pete's play call is third. Captain Moss is fourth. Luna de Loco is fifth. 5 lengths off the lead and 4 lengths back to Shuffle Up. And the trailer up the backstretch is Carve, the first quarter, 22.8. So there's a half mile to go. Bluegrass Singer leads Alex the Terror a half a length. Pete's plate call is 2 lengths off of them. Captain Moss follows in fourth, moving around the far turn. Luna de Loco is still about 6 lengths behind, trying to keep up, shuffle up and carve. 45.48 was the half mile as they round the far turn. Alex the Terror takes the lead on the outside of Bluegrass Singer. Pete's play call is right there running in third. And then it's Captain Moss. Luna de Loco's going to come wide. Shuffle up and carve. They're into the stretch. Alex the Terror comes to the 8th pole with Pete's play call bearing down on the outside. These two, 1-2 with a furlong to run. Pete's play call runs by Alex the Terror. Pete's play call and Angel Arroyo have taken the lead and they're pulling away late. Pete's play call on to victory here, finishing strong to win it by 3. Alex the Terror second, Bluegrass Singer was third, and then came Shuffle Up in 1:22.75.
Pete's play call, Robertino Diodoro Barnes striking here at Saratoga. Angel Arroyo aboard at 7:01.
Yeah, really, pace played a big part in this race. Bluegrass Singer, as we said, would go to the lead. Alex the Terror sitting off of him and in a very good stalking position, takes over here, but it was just too much, too early for these two horses. They falter at the end. Pete's play call picks up the pieces. That route race from Parks, it helped him to finish in this race.
Yeah, it did. You make a great point. The route race got him set up for this race. And, Andy, you talked about his giant race. He ran back to his giant race because Alex the Terror ran giant here.
I agree. It's funny. We were watching it. Tom and I were talking together, and both agreed that Alex the Terror looked loaded on the turn. I think he was. But, you know, to be fair, Pete's play call, it's not like this race collapsed and he picked it up. He was right there behind them, and it was a long way back to the third horse. I think both the first two horses ran very well in this race.
And look, Pete's play call was the only one that finished in here. Everybody was floundering behind him.
No, I agree. It was a big way gap back. 7-1. I mean, I thought the horse was chilly on the board, but he was a big price.
7:01, Pete's play call gets the win. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with jockey Angel Arroyo. Pete's play call. And Angel, a horse that drew away nicely for you in the stretch. I think you were trying to tell me you liked your horse when you were coming out. Were you trying to tip him off to me?
Yeah, well, I like the horse in the last race in Paris. I'm looking for trouble a little bit. That's why I win. But all right, then today I got the best 3 and the horse on the straight win easy. So, and I say thank you, Diodoro, and thank you the owner for the opportunity. I'm really happy.
He's given you a lot of opportunities, trainer Robertino Diodoro, since coming here. You've had a lot of success for him. You got to feel confident when you get on his horses.
Yeah. When I ride for him, I'm really comfortable. So, like I said, thank you again.
Thank you, guys. Andrew was very nervous about doing this with me, but I think he did a beautiful job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Greg.
I give him high marks as well, and
Good
even
stuff.
higher marks for that
Good
ride.
Stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. Listen, Robertino Diodoro has really come full circle. This is a guy that started up in Canada at Hastings Park, ventured down to Turf Paradise, Canterbury, Oaklawn, winning races at Belmont. Took a little time to get going here at Saratoga, but now gets his second win, and Angel Arroyo have been riding well for him. They are a good combo together.
So back-to-back 7:01 shots. We'll see what happens here in the final 2 races on the card. Appealing Maggie, one of the main track-only entrants. Coming up, we'll have the 9th from Saratoga.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Visit the new Rivers Casino and Resort, the capital region's only destination for live table game action and where the hottest new slots are paying out millions. Sign up for Rush Rewards and play up to $500 in slots on us. Plus, we'll double any casino offer and match your tier. Rivers Casino and Resort.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live and into the winner's circle. Race 8 here at the Spa. Pete's play call. Robertino Diodoro, Angel Arroyo, M&M Racing.
Yeah, congratulations to the son of Muddings out of the Irish Open Mare, Taft Little Queen. Give it up for Gabby Gaudet, Maryland bred here for M&M Racing.
Yeah, 1-6-7 is how it finished in the 8th. And Robertino Diodoro bringing in a horse from Parks. Troubled trip last time out. Shortens up in distance a little bit and gets the win.
Yeah, you know, it was a weird race last time out. The horse went to the front end, sort of got cut off, and then re-rallied, and the cutback was the key. A giant race, and got back to his last effort at Belmont and got the money.
Second win for that barn for Robertino Diodoro this afternoon. Race 9, it's off the turf, 5.5 furlongs, an allowance optional claiming field, and My Sweet Stella. You said look out for this one earlier on the show, trained by Dewayne Lucas. Just one on the front end going long at 1 1/16 at Churchill. Now going to shorten up.
5.5 furlongs, too short for her. I'll tell you what, she was impressive last time at Churchill Downs. She does have a race in the Dixie Belle going 6 furlongs. That would probably win this race. The main track onlys, a little chilly on the board, excluding the 5 in here. Appealing Maggie, that rider will get Jose Ortiz.
New York Racing Association is the leader in providing Spanish language content. Luis Grandison provides pre-race analysis. It's all available on the Naira Now app and all available in HD. Here is Luis with Songbird in last year's Alabama. Enjoy.
Songbird haciendo una exhibición, mantiene más de 7, 8 cuerpos, mantiene en la punta. El segundo lugar es bastante disputado entre Go for Broke. Va buscando por dentro el segundo lugar contra Family of Three. Songbird se está ganando de Alabama con Mike Smith y Jerry Ollinger fácil. Segundo está arribando Going for Broke. Tercero está arribando Family Tree. De cuarto finaliza With the Mo. With no more.
Well, she's a true superstar. That made her record a perfect 10 for 10. She'd won the Coaching Club American Oaks earlier in the meet and then proved that she could win at 1 1/4 here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't exude that much talent. I wonder if Beholder did take a lot out of her when she outdueled her. And there you see Mikey just giving her a little bit bath after the Alabama last year. And listen, we get to see her again. This is pretty cool that we're going to get to see her again. The Alabama, we're not going to get maybe the Songbird, but we're getting a better field.
Loaded field, and not just the fact that it's talent top to bottom, but so many interesting storylines, horses trying new surfaces. New Money Honey, Breeders' Cup winner, now trying dirt for the first time for Chad Brown. Holy Helena from synthetic back to dirt. She won the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. It is intriguing top to bottom. Here's a look at the contenders for the Alabama on Saturday.
Songbird, this magnificent filly, winning the Alabama. She is a perfect 10.
Last year in the Alabama, champion Songbird proved the 3-year-old filly division was hers for the taking. And she'll be waiting in the wings for this year's group of 3-year-old fillies come Breeders' Cup. She could have plenty of talent waiting to meet that challenge. We start with Unchained Melody. She'll likely be the one to catch in front. She dominated in the Mother Goose, finding a gear no one could match. But that was at one turn and alone on the lead. If there is pressure up front, trainer Brian Lynch made sure she won't be caught off guard come post time, using a workmate and recent Belmont Stakes runner Meantime.
I wanted her to have a work where if something was to go with her, and you know, she may be the speed of the race and she may clear him, but if something was to go with her out of the gates, I wanted her to be able to relax.
Holy Helena has reeled off 3 consecutive wins, all at route distances and all progressively further than the race before. In her last race, she was dominant, beating the boys in the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown and at the 1.25-mile distance. But her trainer knows she still has plenty to prove in the Alabama.
It's a pretty big step, I think, just the quality of the horses. But, you know, at least she's been the distance and she's, you know, what I like about her is she seems to have, even though she's done a lot in a short period of time, she seems like she's kept her composure.
Then there's New Money Honey. She's the reigning Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner and the leader of the division again this year after her Grade 1 Belmont Oaks win on grass. So why the sudden surface switch? Her trainer Chad Brown says trying her on dirt has been something he's always thought of with her. And she's been training great over dirt at Saratoga. He also thinks she'll love the distance after proving herself at a 1.25 miles in her last start.
As they come down to the wire, the two of them will decide it, and it is going to be New Money Honey.
It Tis Well will look to give Jerry Hollendorfer a second consecutive Alabama after winning with Songbird last year. His filly is twice shipped out of California and is now 2 for 2 on road trips with a recent Grade 3 Delaware Oaks win.
It Tis Well, proud and fearless game. You know to an actress. It's going to be It Tis Well. It Tis Well. Actress coming late. It Tis Well.
Elate has something in her corner no one in this year's field can say. She's already run over the surface, and it was a huge effort. It took everything division leader Abel Tasman had, including some rough riding tactics from her jockey to intimidate Elate to keep her out of the winner's circle.
She may have been, you know, as good as the other horse in the race. She got, you know, slightly impeded, you know, approaching the wire. The other horse drifted down on top of her, and you know, it was a very tight finish.
Sound like a tough enough field? We also forgot to mention Black-Eyed Susan winner Actress, Graded Stakes winner Salty, and Kentucky Oaks third-place finisher Lockdown. With one of the deepest fields in recent memory and all kinds of intriguing storylines, this year's Alabama is not to be missed.
Well, it is going to be a lot of fun, a loaded field, so many great runners and intriguing storylines in that race. We can't wait to bring it to you on what should be a sensational Saturday afternoon here at Saratoga. You can build your bankroll for Travers Day with Naira Bets tomorrow, your last Saturday. To do that by placing a $50 win bet on the Grade 1 Alabama. If you do so, you'll get a $20 credit in your account just in time for Travers Weekend. Find details of all the Saratoga promotions and bet Saratoga Racing nationwide at NairaBets.com. Let's take a look at how this Naira Bets late pick 5 has gone so far. 124,000 plus, Paulie, in the pool, 3 legs in.
Yeah, it started off with a Todd Pletcher runner and Caviar Czar, who won nicely, was 3 wide most of the way and won the race. And then so far since you joined us on Saratoga Live, or some people that just joined us a little bit later, Old Dubai, very impressive. He is a son of a great dam called Dubai Escapade, who won the Ballerina. And then Pete's Play Call surprised a couple people. So one's been wild the last couple races.
Knowing what we've seen from this Naira Bets late pick 5, a couple of 701 shots already, this is going to pay fantastic this afternoon.
It has been a phenomenal play. It really has. It has outplayed the parlay almost every day. You just have to get involved.
And the only way to get involved if you reside outside the state of New York is to get signed up with Naira Bets. And If you're the only winning ticket, guaranteed single winner payout of at least $150,000, $300,000 on Saturdays, but you got to play it through NYRA Bets to take advantage. 9th race when we come back.
How do I see New York bred performance? Like this.
Disco.
Here's New York sire Disco Partner setting a new world record in the Jaipur.
Holy mackerel.
And they perform like multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits.
And he's pouring it on late.
Shown here, winning the Belmont Sprint Championship. And New York breds perform in the sales ring, where this filly sold for $750,000. Look for your registered New York performer at upcoming auctions.
And they're off. NYRA Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back on Saratoga Live, we're getting set for race 9, approaching the 15-minute mark to post. Here's a look at the field. It's been taken off the turf. 5.5 furlongs now, main track. Allowance optional claiming field, and as the board reflects, this is wide open.
Another tough race to read. You have the outside horse here, the 9, Ela, that is maybe the speed in air, probably the speed in air, but coming out of 5 furlong races. The 1 is getting all the money for Dewayne Lucas, My Sweet Stella. Her last race was great. I want you to pay attention to this race. You look at Johnny Court. She's in the back there in the Zayat color. She's like 6 now. He gave her a love tap at the top of the lane. I think truly he thought he was never going to run second here. Watch her wheel to the outside, and she's going to run second behind Chanel's Legacy. She comes back in the Martha Washington to run second to the same foe. You know, at the top of the lane, again, Johnny Court hit her with one little love tap, and that was it. She was very impressive last time out. 5.5 furlongs might be a little short, but she's a player in here.
And we'll see if maybe some speed put back into her. Yeah, she went 1 1/16 on the front end last time out, but some sharp drills, including a bullet 5 furlong move here at Saratoga.
Yeah, I would think, you know, coach is probably trying to sharpen her up. 2 very nice work. She worked, you know, so sharp last time out of the gate. She bowed her neck, and she was gone immediately. And there is Hall of Famer Dewayne Lucas, looking dapper as always.
And having nice couple of winners here at this meet. So he's already on the board, and we'll see what he can do here coming up right now with the co-favorite on the board. in My Sweet Stella. With more on this 9th race, let's go to Maggie.
And Greg, I'd like to check in with the 2 main track only entrants in here, beginning with the gray. That is Play Unified for trainer George Weaver. Now, she's actually going turf to dirt purposefully here for her connections. Now, as far as numbers are concerned, she actually did improve a bit on the turf, but I'm excited to see what she can do this time around, sprinting, especially going this distance on the main track. I think it suits her kind of down to a T, because the last time we had seen her, she was going a mile over a sloppy track at Aqueduct. This just fits her better, as she does look good here for her connections. Moving on to number 5, that is Appealing Maggie, and her last 3 races have been really kind of not appealing at all. She's had trouble getting out of the gate. If this filly can ever learn to re-break again and not kind of throw in the towel as she has done, she might have something to say about this race. I like her, given her physical appearance here as she makes her first start for trainer Michelle Nevin. Her coat looks great. She's well-muscled, but she's fit. It's just, can she get back to some of her good races that she had here during the summertime? The front bandages do go on this time around. Now, number 9 is Ela for Ralph next, and she will go turf to dirt. As the guys were saying, she looks as though she might have some speed in here. She just certainly looks like a fast horse. Now, she's won on the main track before, but it's been twice on tracks that have moisture in it, and she's won on 2 different kinds of wet tracks. She's won a sloppy sealed one and a good one. So that is confident building in me. The front bandages do go on, but a lot of times when you see these turf horses switching surfaces, they need some protection, because they're often the ones that'll do what's called running down, where their ankles will kind of cause an abrasion with the track, and that's just there for protection. I wouldn't put too much stock in it, especially when it's a turf horse running on the dirt. But for more on this race, we'll check in with Andy and Tom.
The scary thing about this race is that Tom Amos and I actually agree. We both think the 1, 3, and 5 are the 3 horses, and the 9 is being overbet right now. Now, one's My Sweet Stella down the rail. 5.5 could be short, but then again, maybe she'll be the 2nd straight turn back from a route to a sprint to win, Tom.
So it's not just a turn back from route to sprint. It is a turn back from a 2-turn mile and a 16th to a really quick 5.5 furlong race, and that's a knock on this move. But class, and she is the class of this field, tends to create speed and make a horse be closer when they're facing others that aren't as good as they are. So I think My Sweet Stella is actually going to be in a pretty good position, despite the fact that she's coming off these route races.
We'll see how much they're moving up front in this race. And a lot of that depends on how fresh the 3 and 5 are. And now True Charm does have speed, by the way, as well, and she'll have to be winging with Santana from the inside. Play Unified. Now, she gets back to the right surface, even though she didn't run terribly in her turf races. Can she re-find her form, though, for George Weaver?
Look, she's a player here because this race comes off the grass, and a cleverly entered horse that is going to get to run as a main track only today. Her win back at Aqueduct in December, which was in the mud, which maybe is similar to this track today, is one that, to me, she gets away from a group that's just rather ordinary. She finishes on her wrong lead or left lead. I'm not going to hold that against her. It's a wet track. Horses oftentimes don't do things correctly on a wet track. But this is not the kind of group she's facing today.
No, I agree. She's probably going to have to run. Well, she did run a 79 buyer. But, also, figures can get exaggerated in wet tracks as well. Listen, she's a horse for a very good trainer that broke her maiden first time out here 2 years ago that has races that can win it. Are we going to see them? And the same can be said for Appealing Maggie. And obviously what Maggie Wolfendale said is correct. She's been terrible lately. And it's not like she wasn't in good barns, particularly in Mike Hushin's barn. But she's another horse, if she can find her form for one time, she'll bury this field.
Yes, she will. And if she goes back to a race in the Miss Woodford at Monmouth, she shows also that she can stalk a little bit off the pace. That might be the move here. This may be too short for the one horse, but you want something that can stay close and stalk. She does it right here, and she's going to get to the winner and win.
Listen, this is a horse.
That's her,
this is, I think, at Belmont Park.
Yeah, this is not.
She's going to finish second behind a very good horse named Karina, who came up here and got involved in a monstrous duel. Actually, she's second right now, and here she was good then. Is she still that racehorse? Now we know that the 1, the 3, and the 5 all have fast races. We don't know if Ela on the dirt, the 9 horse, really is any good, because the only race, she's got a 10, a 46, and a 60 from a buyer figure standpoint. She won a race off the turf. It was a very, very weak field. I just would never bet a horse like this in a dirt race.
Let me speak to that as a claiming trainer, because this horse was claimed for $25,000 and $12,500 early in her career. The biggest move oftentimes trainers can make with their horses to improve them is a surface switch, and turf sprinting is so unique, horses often take to it really well. But she does not have the class of the 1 horse, and I think the 9 horse, Eli, is being bet hard for a form that, to me, is suspect.
I totally agree, and she's the one adding value to this race, at least in our opinion.
Well, she's the current 2-to-1 favorite, as Maggie mentioned, perfect on off track, so we shall see. We're going to start our post-parade off here with My Sweet Stella, trained by the coach Dewayne Lucas. Luis Saez aboard.
I like this horse, but she is going to need some pace to develop in front of her and the race to fall apart late, because she is not a speed horse and she's going short.
True Charm, we'll see next here, the 2 for James Ferraro and Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard.
This is one that is much better on the turf, but elects to stay in and try the dirt here.
This actually did win at Saratoga. Maiden Breaker came on a race that was taken off the turf back last summer, won by 4 1/4, but this is a whole different ball game this afternoon. Here's one of the main track only runners, Play Unified. Manny Franco aboard for George Weaver.
She's got to get back to her good form. If she can refine that good form, she could be right there here and win this race for George Weaver.
She broke her maiden here as well at Saratoga all the way back in 2015. Here's Appealing Maggie, another main track only entrant for Michelle Nevin. Jose Ortiz rides.
Same situation for Appealing Maggie as with Play Unified, only she was better. If she could ever refine that form she once had, she'll blow this field out.
Magic Cap Stable sends out Louisville first. Eric Hansel aboard for Jimmy Toner.
This is a horse that would have been a major player on the grass. I cannot make that same case for her switching to the dirt today.
And still the favorite right now for Ralph Nix, Ela. John Velasquez aboard.
What she has is good recent form. The problem is it's on the turf. She has never run well enough in the dirt to be competitive here, and at 2-to-1 is a massive underlay.
Second choice on the board. We talked about the 1, My Sweet Stella. She went gate to wire last time out. That was at a longer distance. She'll cut back today for the coach who's standing by with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. And yes, he does send out My Sweet Stella in here. And were you a little bit, what was the reaction to when this race came off of the turf? Were you disappointed, or does she have enough dirt pedigree to suggest, well, she'll be just fine?
Well, I thought it would scratch down to 2. That's what I was hoping for. But actually, we got dirt form, so, you know, it wasn't a big deal. I thought maybe it was going to rain. The weather is so unpredictable up here. But on the other hand, we thought it could come off. And she's got dirt form. Her last race was very good. Being said, though, it was a route race and not, you know, a sprint. But she's quick.
And you talk about her quickness. What do you think of it, though, turning back from a 2-turn race to 5.5, a big difference there?
I love that. I like to do that. I've done that most of my career pretty successful, and I even in the Breeders' Cups and stuff like that. I like to do that. It's the easiest thing in training a horse to do. If you get them fit and just fresh them a little bit, bang, here they come.
They're ready to roll, and of course, we're approaching Alabama weekend. You won the Alabama twice with Open Mind and Life's Magic. What was that experience like back in the 80s?
That was so long ago, I can't remember the experience, but it was a lot of fun. I thought we won it more than that. Gosh, I'm disappointed. Those were 2 good horses. Open Mind was exceptional horse, as you know, and 2 times world champion in Breeders' Cup and all the usual. But the Alabama is a special race, and I think it earmarks a filly for the rest of her life, and it did those 2.
And we were talking a little bit off air before we came on here and about some of your students that came up through you. How proud is it, or what were the feelings like to see some of the students that have gone through your program go on and just have so much success here and really anywhere they go?
Well, you hit it right on the head. I am proud. I'm extremely proud of them. I relish in their success every single day. I watch the program. I pull for them. I was telling my wife, Lori, when we were watching the Kentucky Derby, and Always Dreaming got to the half-mile pull, and I knew she was in a great spot to probably win it. I got up and banging around, and I was watching on TV, and I was jumping up and down, and when the race was over, she said, I didn't see you that excited when we won it. But it's a great sense of pride to see them all do that well.
Absolutely. Well, you have a couple of students, George Weaver being one of them, sending out another one in here. Best of luck, though, to your horse coming out.
He's on his own, though. I'm not going to, there's no fatherly love here. And when the gate opens, he's on his own. Afterwards, I'll give him a hug around the neck.
All right, the competitive juice is flowing here, Greg.
I love it. The ultra competitor. He still wants to win. And one of the greats of all time.
Great stuff.
Dewayne Lucas. Name a major race, and he's not only won it, probably he's won it multiple times.
And he's probably trained the best quarter horse that ever lived in Dash for Cash. And if you ask him, he might even say that Dash for Cash is one of his best horses that he ever trained as a quarter horse legend. But obviously, Dewayne Lucas is a legend in himself. What a great interview.
And you like his runner in here, right, my sweet Stella?
Well, I do. Listen, the guys downstairs, and Gabby makes great points. It's a tough thing from a mile 16th to 5.5 furlongs. So how am I going to question, or why am I going to question Dewayne Lucas?
We will see what happens here on the cutback. Race 9 Saratoga coming up after a quick break.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. We are out on the track here. I'm aboard Q, and we are watching horses warm up for today's 9th race, an event which has been rained off the turf. And we're on this good track, but really, I agree with what Dale Roman said earlier on the broadcast. The jockey came back in and told him it's better in better condition than it's been on me. I have to agree with him. Riding over, it feels wonderful. It has a nice bounce to it. So I don't think it's going to play to horses that may appreciate, really wet track or really fast track. It's very, very kind of fair from what I can make out as far as horses' preferences are concerned. Now, I want to talk quickly about number 9, Ela. She was actually a scratch from the Caress Stakes. Horse trainer Ralph Nix going back to opening week here. So you might want to take that as a negative. I don't know. I mean, she looked as though she may have had a shot in that race, and they took her out of it. So I'm kind of scratching my head on that one, as we'll take a look at number 1 for the coach, Dewayne Lucas. That is my sweet Stella, and he was talking about getting a horse fresh. It certainly looks as though he's done that with her. She's gotten a bit hot out here, but it is very muggy, and coaches' horses tend to get a bit hot. For me, she's actually built more like a sprinter, so I'm excited to see what she does turning back in distance to this 5.5. And then let's talk about Appealing Maggie here, a filly that, like I said, her last couple races have not been that good, and she's a filly that used to get very sharp, very keyed up prior to going into the gates, and she is so quiet and so docile here. I'm really kind of questioning, does she really want to do it anymore? So I guess we'll find out a bit more here, but I'm going to stick with the horse that's just done everything right from the get-go, and that's Play Unified, guys.
All right, Maggie, thanks. Yeah, Play Unified, the 3 at 7-2 on the board. That's with Manny Franco aboard. So we shall see. She actually broke her maiden here at Saratoga in her debut, and she did a gate to wire back in August of a long time ago, 2015. She's been freshened a little bit for this one as well. But there's Appealing Maggie and guys downstairs. Not a great signal there from Maggie with what she saw with this 4-year-old filly.
She's also a little chilly on the board, Appealing Maggie. I mean, I know her recent form's not good, Tom, but you'd think if she was live, she'd be taking more money.
I've seen many, many class horses come to Saratoga off form and recover and run their big races.
Let's send it upstairs. Race 9. Larry Colmus with the call.
They're all in line. They're off. Play Unified comes out running well and is surrounded early by True Charm from the inside and Appealing Maggie from the outside. These three out to the front, and then it's Ela away running in fourth on the far outside, followed by My Sweet Stella, and Louisville First is last. And now Play Unified shakes away to a length lead. Appealing Maggie on the outside second. True Charm is running in third. Ela to the outside is fourth. She's 3 lengths off the lead after 22.05 quarter. 2.5 lengths more back to My Sweet Stella. Louisville First continues to trail the field as they approach the quarter pole. It is Play Unified turning for home in front. Appealing Maggie to the outside second, and they're into the stretch. True Charm is third on the inside. My Sweet Stella is in behind horses and now beginning to move up and is making a strong rally up the rail. Play Unified, My Sweet Stella to the inside. Appealing Maggie on the far outside. It's Ela. Play Unified's holding on to this lead from My Sweet Stella on the inside. Appealing Maggie and Ela. It's Play Unified. She won it by 2.5 lengths over My Sweet Stella. Ela was third and Appealing Maggie was fourth in 104.79.
Play Unified takes the 9th here. Manny Franco for one of Dewayne Lucas's students, George Weaver, 319 finish.
You saw real intention for Manny Franco at the start. He was very aggressive with this horse. He was not going to allow others to seize control of the race. He wanted to control the race and made a decisive move. The one horse, My Sweet Stella, Tom was right. She got that good early position. Perfect trip. Great ride by Saez to get her through. We thought she'd win, but the best horse won.
Best horse won. I'm going to give some credit to the outside horse, Eli, the 9, that didn't get to run her style of race. She wants to be in front. She hung tough to the end of this race. I thought finished pretty good for a horse that doesn't show the same performances on the dirt that she does on the turf.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. You know, he tried to rate her a tiny bit, but I think Andy hit the nail on the head. Manny was able to win the battle, bend the war. When he was able to fend off the 5, Appealing Maggie, you know, Ela came to the outside, the 1 came to the inside, but just held sway. And for a split second, it looked like, Greg, for a split second, the 1 was going to go right by. The 3 ended up winning this race by 3 lengths. Best, nail on head, best horse won.
Let's take a look at the head on the start if we can. I think it really emphasizes how aggressive Manny Franco was in this race, because you're going to see he is coming out with absolute intention. I mean, he's whipping and driving, Tom, to get the lead.
Yeah, look, it's 5.5 furlongs. Everybody knows they need position, including the horse on the inside, My Sweet Stella.
Let's go to Maggie standing by with a winning rider.
Here on the track with the gray filly, Play Unified with a happy Manny Franco, that's for sure. And Manny, the guys were just talking about how aggressive you were from the start. 5.5 furlongs. I think the horse who gets the lead oftentimes is the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I just followed the instruction. George told me to try to send her there and try to make the lead because that's the way she want to run. And that's what we did.
And as far as handling the track, I mean, she was a horse that her last 2 starts have came on the turf, but she's back to the dirt. I mean, I know this is your first time riding her, but do you feel as though she's just a better, improved filly?
I think so, yeah. George been doing a great job with his horses, and she handled it pretty well.
And you've had a lot of success with George Weaver, a guy that certainly aims his horses for this meet. Always kind of, you know, confident when you see your name next to his horses, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say thanks to him because he gave me the opportunity the first day I came here, and I'm really appreciate that, and we're here.
It's good to see old kind of teams matching up and winning races here at the spot. Manny, congratulations with Play Unified.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Greg, isn't that nice? You know, they got their start here together and they win together.
Yeah, you got to love that. That's a nice story. Manny Franco, George Weaver, Bonaventure Stables, Play Unified with the win here to pick up the 3rd win of her career, the daughter of Exchange Rate, and it's George Weaver beating his old mentor, Dewayne Lucas. They run 1-2.
Yeah, and she won the race the way she broke her mate. And Tom was talking about her race. It was really hard the first time she put on blinkers to figure out what she was going to do, and that's what happened today. She went to the front, and that's what she wants to do.
Still to come, it is the nightcap. There is Sanavi for trainer Todd Pletcher, son of Lemon Drop Kid. Dropping down in class, will that be a winning maneuver and going back to dirt for Todd Pletcher and Starlight Racing? Race 10 when we come back on Saratoga Live.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes placed for former Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Back here on Saratoga Live, and Manny Franco on Play Unified for trainer George Weaver. Bonaventure Stables, daughter of Exchange Rate, gets the win here. $10.60 for the victory. Big run from My Sweet Stella on the cut back in distance for Dewayne Lucas and Sayat Stables as well, but can manage no better than second. And Ela actually broke outward out of the gate. Tom Amos said ran a nice race, and she actually broke very poorly as well. So she did run big in here. 3-1-9 is how it finished. Let's head downstairs to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg, and standing by with winning trainer George Weaver. And George, Manny Franco aboard, he said actually in the post-race interview that Maggie conducted that you told him to send out of the gate, and well, that plan just worked out perfectly.
Yeah, that's pretty much her style, and I didn't think today was a good day to tamper with it. You know, she just likes to run on the engine. There was two or three other speed horses in here, and I was concerned about it, but I just figured, you know, I didn't want to change her style, so they're just going to have to, we'll have to duke it out if that's what's going to happen.
And we were speaking a little bit off air. How much confidence do you have in Manny's ability as a rider? You mentioned briefly you think that he's an underrated rider, but incredible meet so far.
You know, Manny started riding horses for me a few years ago, not too long after he first got here. And I see him trying hard every day. He brings home a lot of long shots. He gets a lot of run out of horses, and I got a great relationship with him. And I'm always happy to see him win, whether it's for me or somebody else.
Now, we were talking to Dewayne Lucas before the race, and he was mentioning some very nice things about you. What did you learn from the coach in your time working for him?
Well, the normal, I guess the normal stuff, the organization, and you know, we were around so many good horses there. You get an idea of what it takes to be a good horse, and you know, that's important to have a gauge of what you have and what you don't have. And you know, luckily enough, I met my wife there, Cindy. So that's probably the best thing I got out of it.
I'd say so. That was definitely a good thing. And, well, he did say before the interview he wasn't going to be rooting you on, but he would give you a hug if you won. So expect a hug from him maybe later on.
I felt bad when I saw it. He was second, right? I felt bad. I like it when he wins too. So, but you know, we're out here to win, and somebody's got to be second. So I'm glad it wasn't me.
And you're winning a lot, George, so far. Once again, another successful meet here at Saratoga. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gabby.
Back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. I'm sure he's okay with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd take the hug too. But great job there by George with that filly. He did a good job, and it's got to be crazy to beat basically your mentor. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. George Weaver having a tremendous meet, as Gabby said, though, winning it over 20% now. Of course, Alabama, the big story. It is coming up on Saturday. We're going to have it for you here on Saratoga Live. And so much talent in this group. We have the Coaching Club American Oaks with Abel Tasman and the second and third place finishers, Paulie, both coming out of this race, and they both had problems in here. Salty had problems right from the beginning, leaps out of the starting gate.
And she causes her own problems, doesn't she? Or is this her third straight excuse? Because you could argue that she had trouble in the Kentucky Oaks, and the Acorn she had a little bit of issues, and she might have been best on this day in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Now, when you go down the backside, Salty had to make the early move. A late had to wait, right? Now Abel Tasman, who made that wicked middle move, has now hit the front. And what does, you know, Jose Ortiz need to do with a late? He cuts down to the rail. As you see, Salty cuts to the outside.
And this is where it gets real interesting, guys. Mike Smith, Abel Tasman decide to make things real tight on a late.
Right, well, we know that I think the horse should have been placed first, but, you know, forgetting about even that, to be honest, and he did make it tight, and whatever, they made the ruling they made. The best horse, the third best horse in here was probably a late, and I bet her, because she got an absolute dream trip. She's able to cut the corner, and we'll watch this, and we'll see how tight it gets, and you can talk about it. I just think that the late had an absolutely perfect trip outside the fact she was pinned down the inside. Salty or Abel Tasman were best.
Yeah, so when you look at this race, Andy, the things that I take away from it are, for Elate, this was her biggest effort to date so far. And the same can be said of, you know, the horse
You still
Salty.
don't think this horse should have come down, right?
I do not think
you
this
wouldn't
horse
have
should
claimed
come
if you
down.
trained a late.
Can we talk about the race? So, but when you look at Salty, you got left at the gate and made a big charge at the finish. That's a situation where you've got two fillies that ran really hard races, and they're going to come back and they're going to try to duplicate it at a mile and a quarter. Don't let that be lost on you. A mile and a quarter is a distance that pedigree plays into. Some can do it, some can't. Off those hard races, there are fresher horses in here that I think are more interesting than those two.
I agree with all of that. Salty's terrific, and in a funny way, she almost deserves to win this because she's been so unlucky, but as Paul pointed out, some of it's her own fault. And I don't think she's a mile and a quarter horse. A late might be a mile and a quarter horse, but she had so many things go well for her in that race, even besides having a tough effort, that I think in a tougher field, I mean, with all due respect to Abel Tasman, and obviously she's the significant leader of this division, this is a very salty race. And I'm going to tell you something. We'll see what Unchained Melody does here. I'm going to say right now, if she wins the Alabama and runs as well as I think she might, I'm not sure she's not the best female dirt horse in the country. Forget about just in this race.
Those are big words.
I tell you what, though. You better pay attention to the 3-horse. That horse is not going to be 12-1. That horse for Jerry Hollendorfer ran well. She got backed up behind that, the Paradise Woods race and Abel Tasman. I'm telling you, this horse is the real deal. And when Hollendorfer ships, he means business. And everybody looks at that race, thinks actress this, actress that, was never beating that horse.
I want to disagree with that vehemently. I think this was a race where the pace completely held together, and Actress absolutely ran the better race of the two horses.
But how can you say that when the horse won the race? Now I'm in between horses. I already had a battle with the other horse on the inside. The horse Actress has got every chance to go on by. You're never going by me at any point in this race. I already fended off the two. The one's trying to get to the rail, never going by. I'm winning easy.
I have a question for both of you. Which one of these 4 or 5 horses that are within 3 lengths of each other comes into this race and is going to take on this group? Are you kidding?
None of them. None of them.
That's
none
an
of them are
ordinary
winning
group
this
of
race
horses that
based
you
on
just
that.
watched there. Look, ordinary from the standpoint of what they're going to face tomorrow.
I agree with Tom completely, but
But
the
ordinary as
dynamics
to
of
what?
the
Abel Tasman. She was behind Abel Tasman before, and she had issue. How's that ordinary? How's the horse ordinary?
As I was trying to say, I believe that when a pace holds together, the horses are on the front end have an advantage, and the horses trying to close have a disadvantage. That's the way I look at
and
the race.
best, by the way, the best 3-year-old was Unique Bella. We'll end that, and she was second to her.
She's a very good horse. I don't disagree. We don't know how far she really wants to go, but I don't disagree. Unique Bella is a monster.
We haven't even talked about
the
the 2 horses that are the major factors in here, and that's Lockdown and Unchained Melody.
Right.
Those 2 are the ones that are the major players in this race.
I agree with that. And here's my question if we watch the Mother Goose. Unchained Melody, I thought, was very strong at the end. Now, she set an honest pace. Lockdown had trouble to start in that race. She stumbled at the start, but I wondered if she was finishing, Tom, like a horse that wants to go 1.25 miles.
Well, Lockdown is trying to win the race and knows that Unchained Melody is getting away on an easy lead here, has to move sooner than really would like to, and so that can cost a horse's finish when you've got to use a little gas to get to where you want to be. I like the move to 2 turns for Lockdown better than I do Unchained Melody. Unchained Melody has yet to go 2 turns. This 1.25 mile 2-turn race could be very difficult for her.
So you think the 1.25 miles, and this is a question, I don't have a strong opinion. I was talking a bit about with Brian Lynch last night. He was on the show with me. Is a 1.25 miles around 2 turns tougher than necessarily a 1 1/16, 1 1/8 around 1 turn?
Well, I think it depends on the horse.
Speed.
It depends on the horse. If you've got a horse that is a 2-turn style horse, no, of course it's easier. But if you have a horse that would prefer the Belmont wide turns, the Belmont 1-turn distance for that kind of race, then yes, it's a harder race.
All right, Tom, I got a question for you. Hold on, I got a question. You guys keep saying if this race is about pedigree, who has the best pedigree to get the 1.25 miles? It's not even remotely close. The 3-horse It Tis Now, Arch, the Super Derby winner, and out of a Tis Now mare who won the Breeders' Cup Classic back-to-back.
So are we talking
So the
about
guy
whether
who
or not
pedigree can answer
that horse can get the distance? I thought we were talking about her race specifically and whether she was
good enough.
But
you said pedigree means a lot in these type of races.
Isn't New Money Honey the horse you want then, Paul?
Hey, you can argue on both. Listen, the Archers can go all day, and so could we. Tis Now. I'm not saying the pedigree's not right there on Unchained Melody, but you're getting 12-1 on a Jerry Hollendorfer horse. I think that's live tomorrow.
I think it's pretty clear. You like the 3 horses here. It's Tis Well, and we don't. I think we pretty much established that.
First of all, I don't think you're going to get 12-1, right? Here's
I think
New
you might
Money
get
Honey.
11.
She's going to be trying dirt for the first time. She proved she could go 1.25 miles, albeit that was on grass. It's just a strange move when you're the leader of your division to make a switch like this all of a sudden.
Well, I think it's a move that they're trying to. Andy, you probably know this better. Is he making this move because he has to have confidence? You know, when we interviewed him yesterday, he's not even worried about the inside slot. He thought, okay, she's going to have to take dirt in her face anyway.
Tomorrow, you can play the All-Stakes cross-country pick 4 with Naira Bets for a 10% winner's bonus. Sequence kicks off with the Lake Placid and the Alabama at Saratoga. It ends with the Pacific Classic at Arrogate and the Del Mar Oaks at Del Mar. Don't miss out on a sequence that combines the country's premier race meets. Find details and play the cross-country pick 4 nationwide at NairaBets.com. Still have the nightcap to come. I can't wait to see the arguments tomorrow when we actually have the Alabama. It's just the race lead-up. Can Todd Pletcher close things out with Sanavi dropping down in class? We'll find out in a minute.
And they're off. Naira Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NairaBets.com. Bet the Naira Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NairaBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Naira track or New York OTB location. Naira Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, Altitude Networks. We have the nightcap coming up. Race 10 at Saratoga. Mile and an eighth on the main track. 16 claiming race for non-winners of 2 lifetime. And Paulie, a little intrigued by this prize fight to 3, who's only been on turf so far.
I can't believe what's going on the board. Now I'm going to go downstairs to the guys after this. You know, this horse made a middle move into Voodoo Song, who ran off last time. I think with a drop in class today, this horse gets to the front end. I cannot deal with 6-5 on the 2.
I can't either, but Tom has actually a very interesting take, Paul, on this horse, Prize Fight, who Mike Maker is putting on the dirt for the first time. And while the dam was a turf horse, she actually ran well in her 2 career dirt starts, so there is some pedigree. But Tom has a very interesting point.
Yeah, the only thing I was trying to say was that a guy like Maker has horses everywhere, and if you wanted to leave a horse like this on the grass, it's so easy to do. Tracks like Indiana Grand, where he has a presence and a group of horses there, he can run in this exact race and do it on the turf. I question why he's taking a horse that's never run on the dirt, and he's going to run him here at Saratoga in this last race today.
And in all likelihood, Paul, he's going to lose this horse. So that is a negative. And by the way, I agree with you, Paul. I think this horse is a crazy price right now, and if he takes the dirt, he will smoke this field. But there are some sort of intangible negatives.
Yeah, you make a good point, like, because he can get to the front end in here, and I think he's the speed in here, Greg.
7-1 there on the son of Tiz Now. Meanwhile, the favorite 6-5 on Sanavi for trainer Todd Pletcher. With more, let's go to Maggie.
And Craig, both of these horses trying the main track here and a drying out main track. Look, Sanavi broke his maiden on a sloppy sealed racetrack. That is not the racetrack he's getting here today. And as I've said, you know, sloppy sealed racetracks, they will mimic turf courses a bit better than what he's going to encounter this time around. He has more of a turf hoof, don't get me wrong. He's drop dead gorgeous for a horse running for 16. But watching that race at Monmouth Park, which was on the turf, it just seemed as though, from my perspective, as if he was laboring. I mean, he was on the wrong lead, and that was going a mile on the turf course. So why are we going to take a short price on this horse? I get he's a drop down, but and I know it's Todd Pletcher, but I'm not convinced. Don't get me wrong. In the flesh, he looks great. It's just the circumstances of this, I just don't know if they're quite in his wheelhouse. Now, number 3 is Prize Fight. He's never been on the main track. He is very, very fit, and he's kind of an odd horse that Mike Maker got extremely aggressive with and put him in very kind of aggressive spots and lofty spots for a horse who broke his maiden in a maiden 20. So while I think that he is more of a turf horse, I think, though, that the stamina is there for him to handle the mile and an eighth because he's so well-conditioned, he's so fit, and, yeah, he drops back down the ladder in class here. So maybe that's what he needed, and obviously he's offering a much better price at 6-1. But, guys, what do you think about this 7-5 on Sanavi?
Well, as we talked about earlier today on Talking Horses, I think this horse is a terrible bet in this race at a short price, and is only getting bet because Todd Pletcher trains him. His maiden win was in early June at Gulfstream when the fields are a bit hungry, and it was an off-the-turf race, and he got a 51 buyer in a 5-horse field. Tom, explain to me why you would want a short price on him in this race.
Well, you're looking at a 5-horse field there, and by the way, this type of race, maiden 30, maiden 20 at Gulfstream that came off the grass, they probably had 7 or 8 of those a week down there, so the fields were diminished in terms of talent. Yeah, he's the best of these. But this is a different ball game. They've all done what he's done, which is break the maidens, and now they're going to meet here. Andy, we are punching holes in a lot of these horses. And when you start doing that in a race, to me that says, watch out for a freaky result.
Well, that seems a possibility. I don't like Sanavi. I'm live to a few horses in the pick 3, and Sanavi is not one of them. The 5-horse is the horse I like in the race, Mr. Hayes. Kind of an interesting claim by Michelle Nevin, who is very, very shrewd and very sharp. She claimed this horse for herself out of this win to maiden 20. Yeah, it drops to 16. This is not a drop in class, though. I mean, this is actually probably a tougher field. I think this horse is very interesting.
I noticed something on this replay. This horse, Mr. Hayes, is on his right lead around the turn. That is very unusual for a horse. Horses need to use their left lead to make a turn. Subsequently, he's very wide in this particular race. To me, that's a negative. That, along with the fact that he was claimed for $20,000 and is being dropped in for $16,000. Tighter turns here at Saratoga. I don't like this horse.
This horse, though, when he broke his maiden, was 5-1. So Michelle Nevin probably didn't expect him to break his maiden. She probably thought, I can come back in a maiden 20 or 25, break his maiden, and then move on with him into a race like this. So she kind of got a little unlucky when she claimed him, Tom.
No, indeed. Indeed she did. I'm sure she claimed it with the idea of they ride a lot of those maiden-type races up at Saratoga. We'll win one of those.
Right. She probably thought she wouldn't, but I'm still going to respect Michelle.
This, Paul, could be a stagger fest here, turning for home. And how about a horse who's done it, won it 1 1/8, and did it here the 4 Holy Week?
Though I think one of the horses to beat in here for sure, and the Finger Lake shipper for Deborah Breeder already is at a winner at this meet. This race is confusing, but I'm with you. It's going to be a battle of nutrition to the end.
Post parade coming up. We will start off with Gun for Hire, who will stretch out. Just recently sprinted 6 furlongs for Paradise Farms, trained by Patrick Quick with Sam Camacho Jr.
While I agree with Paul that the 3 looks like the speed, this horse could show some early speed stretching out. Is he good enough, and can he go this far, however?
3-2 favorite, Sanavi for Starlight Racing, trained by Todd Pletcher. Jose Ortiz aboard.
Really tough horse to endorse off that maiden win. The last 2 efforts, the horse has actually had good trips and has not run. I will give the horse one thing. Probably going to love the 1 1/8 because he's just one pace.
Three Diamonds Farm sends out the 3 Prize Fight, trained by Mike Maker. Luis Saez aboard, dirt debut.
Tries the dirt for the first time. If he handles it, he's going to be long gone.
Here's the one we were talking about, who's won here at this distance. That was a maiden score last summer for Holy Week, trained by Deborah Breed. Nazario Alvarado aboard.
You know, there was moisture in the track 2 back. He lost to a horse named Control Group, who won and crushed a group for a 35 non-3 lifetime. So the 4's a player.
There's Mr. Hayes, Paco Lopez for Michelle Nevin.
Comes off the claim for a very shrewd trainer, Michelle Nevin, who also owns the horse. Did break his maiden last time. He'll have to improve.
Benny Big Boy has Kendrick Carmouche aboard.
Yeah, no speed with this one. Look for him late. A little washy. Looks like he's on his toes in that post parade.
Heavenly Sun, sent out by John Hertler, and Luis Reyes rides.
Primarily a turf horse who hasn't run particularly well at any dirt races, but did just finish behind the 4 when that one broke his maiden year last year.
And Shooting Star Stable sends out the Orphan Miracle, Eric Cancel aboard for David Donk.
I mean, David Donk's having a very good run, but this one just looks a little challenged from a distance standpoint and a surface standpoint.
So there's your post parade here for our nightcap. Meanwhile, Mr. Hayes, 9-2 on the board, comes in off a win as the recency of that last time out, claimed by Michelle Nevin, who was with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. And we don't always see this frequently, a trainer claiming for his or herself. Michelle, but you said that you do this actually pretty frequently. Tell me a little bit about this horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for a little bit of action. Saratoga, I'm like everybody else, want to have a little fun. So, you know, I just liked him, and for 20, I thought I'd take a shot.
And what intrigued you about this horse? And did you, when you go into claiming a horse, do you kind of have a plan mapped out where you might spot him out of the claim?
Yeah, I figured, you know, with his pedigree and his style, you know, he'll go long, and for that kind of price, he'd fit for starters, you know, just a little action.
And you've obviously trained very quality horses in the past, By the Moon being one of them, just quality graded stakes type of caliber horses. What's the difference between graded stakes horses and the claiming game?
They're faster. Yeah, well, you know, the quality horses, they just jump up, they're in your face and they show you. And these guys, the cheaper guys, they mightn't have everything together at the start of their lives, but as they go along, they might learn, progress, change, grow. So you just try to follow along and see what they want to do.
And this horse specifically broke its maiden last time out, going the flat mile. How do you think he'll fare going the 9 furlongs? Kind of an interesting distance for this kind of condition.
Yeah, it is. I feel with him, though, you know, that's his thing. He just keeps galloping. You know, so I don't think distance is going to be the problem.
All right, well, hopefully we see that pace come back to him here today, but he definitely has the stamina, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. We saw Commandeering run second back in race 7. We talked about that Taproot race that he was involved in earlier in his career. Mr. Hayes was a distant 3rd behind Belmont Stakes winner, eventual Belmont winner Taproot, and Commandeering in that race. That was the 2nd start of his career. Dropped in class to get that maiden win. We'll see how he does coming up next.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before. Back on Saratoga Live, getting set for the finale on this Friday afternoon coming up, the day before the Alabama loaded field. We were talking about this 5-horse right before we went to break. That is Mr. Hayes, 9-2 on the board. Michelle Nevin claimed just to get in the action a little bit here at Saratoga. The horse finally, 10th start, dropping down in class, put it all together.
He just got the nod. I still don't know that he won that race. Got a great bob that day, but he looks good on the track.
He does. With more on Mr. Hayes, let's go to Maggie.
And taking a look at Mr. Hayes, first off the claim there, the front bandages do go on this guy. I like him. I think he looks good. He's looked good in all of his efforts. And Michelle is a very crafty lady when it comes to claiming horses. I'm sure she, like you guys were alluding to, she didn't think he'd win that race. And she thought she was going to claim a maiden that would be tough up at Saratoga in those maiden 20s. But she's going to have to go with the 16 non-2 life here. At least he has the conditioning. I'm a little bit on the fence with him, though. I think there's some question marks that Mr. Hayes has to answer, particularly what Tom was alluding to with the lead situation. So we'll see what shakes out. Wishing Michelle, though, the best of luck.
By the way, he's a Drosselmeyer. We already had a Drosselmeyer win on today's card earlier today.
He's a shockingly good sire with first-time starters, and that horse won a sprint. Tom, are you surprised that Drosselmeyer's had as much success with 2-year-old firsters?
You know, I can't pull it out of my hat right now, but how many horses have you seen that were pure distance horses, and they end up throwing a lot of precocious young horses? Uncle Mo, for instance. You know, so I'm not surprised. Good sires produce good babies.
There's a look at the 3. Prize Fight. Down to 7-2 right now.
This horse should be 7-2. Let's be honest. Like, Andy made a great point in the post parade. I'm with him. This horse gets to the front end and could destroy this group. Got races to go to. The maiden 20. You know, I don't mind the 16 drop 16 because they had the horse in for maiden 20. He ran a good race back. Then they got aggressive, ultra aggressive. I thought his last effort, he finally woke up. His race before that, he stumbled badly. He's had a couple excuses. I just think that if he breaks, if I'm Louis Saez, I'm going, and making the one make a decision.
There's that 4-horse, those white blinkers on, blue and white striped silks. We have seen Finger Lakes horses more than hold their own here at this meet. And keep in mind, again, this is a horse who's won at 1 1/8 miles, did so, maiden breaking win at Saratoga last summer.
His race 2 back was not bad, Andy, against Control Group.
I think he's also a horse that likes a little bit of moisture in the track, Tom.
He is indeed. Now, Maggie talked about the track and said it's very, very good. But I'll bring up this point about the Finger Lakes horses. When trainers come to Saratoga, they bring the best they've got. They don't look to run in this kind of spot. Finger Lakes, these are the bread and butter horses of that area, and they are hard knocking at this level, and that's why they can compete up here.
Have you considered making a show shirt out there while you're in New York and upstate New York?
Look, I understand it. Let's leave it at that.
Tom Amos trying to get on that wine list up in the Finger Lakes.
Yes, he is. Great wine region up there. So if you do get a string up there, I'd be happy to oversee it for him.
No worries.
Loading up here, 8-5 favorite, Sanavi, Todd Pletcher, Jose Ortiz, the ones to beat. Let's go to Larry Colmus for the call of this finale from Saratoga.
Here comes the Orphan Miracle up to the outside stall. Goes in. They're all in line. Heavenly Sun very restless here in the starting gate. And Luis Reyes has been unseated from Heavenly Sun. He is climbing back aboard and remounting. Just about set. They're off. Prize Fight in Sanavi on the inside. Gun for Hire's got speed. On the far outside, the Orphan Miracle is sent along. So it's these four with the most early foot. And then it's Holy Week. And on the outside, Mr. Hayes. At a break of another 3 lengths more back to Heavenly Sun. The trailer is Benny Big Boy. They make their way around that first turn in pursuit of Prize Fight, who's taking it to them early. Prize Fight on top. 3/4 of a length over the Orphan Miracle through a 24.59 quarter. Sanavi is in third. Mr. Hayes on the outside fourth. Holy Week is fifth. And 5 lengths off the lead as they enter the backstretch. And then it's Gun for Hire to the inside. And a 3-length gap back to Heavenly Sun and Benny Big Boy together at the back of the field. Prize Fight leading the Orphan Miracle a 1/2 length up the backstretch. These two take him through a half in 49.76. And then it's Sanavi. Jose Ortiz and Sanavi ride the rail 2 lengths off the lead. Mr. Hayes next. Then Holy Week. Beginning to move up is Benny Big Boy. Kendrick Carmouche sending Benny Big Boy along at the half-mile pole. They're going 3 wide and passing horses quickly. Around the far turn. Prize Fight and the Orphan Miracle. And now they're a length clear of Mr. Hayes, Benny Big Boy on the outside, and at the rail, Sanavi holds position right in behind the leaders. And then a break of another 3 back to Holy Week, and Gun for Hire. Heavenly Sun is far behind as they come toward the top of the stretch. Now it's the Orphan Miracle who has taken the lead, but Mr. Hayes is coming on, and Sanavi is going to switch to the outside of them. Prize Fight has dropped back to 4th. The Orphan Miracle with the rail in the lead. Sanavi is closing on the outside, and now Sanavi to the front. Sanavi has taken the lead. Mr. Hayes takes second. The Orphan Miracle is back to 3rd. Sanavi runs away in the end. Won it almost by 5 over Mr. Hayes. Then the Orphan Miracle and Prize Fight in 152.88.
Well, Sanavi rolls right on by. It'll be interesting to see the head-on, however, in the stretch, Tom.
Yeah, you know, he does come over a little bit on Mr. Hayes. It's so difficult, Greg, to watch a head-on and see exactly what happens in a race. I'm not going to make any comments about that right now, but I'll say this. They were going slow up front. It really played to the front end. This horse, Savani, was much, much the best to have to lay off that pace and come running at the end.
For this quality of horse, the final time, not sure if I actually think it was the 5 who drifted out, believe it or not. I think the 2 came in, but the 5, the one who was drifting. We'll see the head-on. He was best. This was best of the group.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. I mean, best of the group is right. He actually strutted out nicely, but who did he beat? We'll tell you the head-on right here. He swings off cover right now, and Mr. Hayes is trying. He's just getting a little bit tired, and a little bit of race riding here, too, as well from Paco Lopez. Hey, let me float you out a little bit. You see Johnny V probably said, hey, I'm already by you See you later. But listen, this is a tough horse to figure out after you watch his 3 races, but this is what happens sometimes in these lower rates. These mile and eighth races now, Todd Pletcher has won like 4 or 5 of them at this meet on the drop.
Yes, he has. Andy, go ahead.
No, this 59 buyer was good enough for a 4-leg score as Jose Ortiz continues to ride well, and Todd Pletcher's now 2 in front of Chad Brown, who has not run a lot of horses recently.
And Todd is doing it by placing his horses in drop spots. Look, this same group, Starlight Racing, did it at the end of last week with a dropper in for maiden claim, just like they did today with this horse. But Todd, give him credit. He's putting these horses in the right spot, finding good races for his horses.
Well, he clearly did not want to lose the title again this year because he's almost a horse alchemist. He seems to be coming up with horses you've never heard of from all different places, and he's winning a boatload of races.
And the horse that started this pick 5 was Caviar Czar, an entry main track only. He won at a mile and an eighth. We talked down his mile and eighth runner about a week ago. That horse won. This horse, I could not have hated even more. And the horse won even more impressive than all the other horses. So, I mean, what can you do? Like I say all the time, you leave out Pletcher, you leave in a stretcher.
He's making all the right moves, and usually you think, oh, he wants to get rid of a horse. Reason to play someone else. Not so at this meet. He has been making that move time and time again. We'll be back with prices next.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm. Eclipse Award winner Blaine retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks. Blaine at Claiborne Farm.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca back here on Saratoga Live on this Friday afternoon. It was Sanavi, another Todd Pletcher class dropper, winning in 2 wins today for Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, congratulations to Starlight Racing, a lemon drop kid colt out of the Forestry mare, Salvatica. Now 2 for 4 lifetime. And listen, Obviously, some issues there for a horse they paid $350,000, but a win is a win, and Jose Ortiz packs on another W. If you had the pick 6, you got to go to the Urs line. If you have the pick 5, you don't.
No, you don't. Let's head downstairs to Gabby for more.
Thanks, Greg. Standing by with Jose Ortiz and Zanavi. Well, coming down the stretch, Jose, how much the best was he today?
Was much the best today, obviously. I just guide him out there and give him a good trip. Try to give him a clean trip. And, you know, I was waiting for Paco to go on so I can go outside of him. And that's what I did. I was pretty confident going to the quarter pole. I got a lot of horse.
And shifting gears, though, Jose, to tomorrow, obviously Alabama Day. You were aboard a late last time out in the Coaching Club American Oaks. A little bit of race riding coming down the stretch. What were your thoughts coming down the stretch on a late?
I mean, I felt like I had a lot of horse that day, and Mikey stayed really wide. So I went to a rail, why not? And it was wide open for me. So I went on, LA responded really well, and then Mikey, you know, he came in little by little, he tied me up really good in there, you know. He's a veteran. He knew what he was doing. I had to claim foul like everybody know, you know, it was a little brush in there, but the results stand, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow. I think she's gonna run a big.
You've been aboard her plenty of times in the past. Do you think she's a filly that likes a little bit of a tight space, a little fight in her too? Because that's what it seemed like she responded down on the inside rail.
Yeah, she ran very well last time, but tomorrow I got her outside. I'm gonna break from the outside, so she probably gonna be forwardly positioned in the early stage. So I think she's a really nice filly. In the first day I get on her before their first race, I got on her, and I really like her, and I'm happy to see her running well, happy to see her second in the coaching club, and I will be happy to see her win the Alabama tomorrow.
You knew she was something special from the get-go, but we all knew that you and your brother were something special from the get-go. Just talk a little bit about the camaraderie and the competitiveness between you and your brother, especially here at this meet.
I think it's great. It's great for the sport. It's great for all of us. I mean, that's what the people is talking about, you know. Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher going head-on-head. Me and Ira going head-on-head, and I love it. I mean, he gave me something, you know, a little me more pumped up every day, and you know, it's my brother, but I mean, inside the track is different. You know, we ride pretty tight at each other, and it's great. Like I say, I love it.
Nothing like sibling rivalry. Congratulations here and best of luck on tomorrow's card.
Thank you.
All right, Greg, he rides a lot. He's going to have to eat his Wheaties.
They're so young. Wow. They are so immensely talented, and they work so hard as well.
I think
it's just incredible.
The other part you don't get about this is the understanding of the language that these kids already know. And you know what? I refer to that. That is great stuff by him. Bird needed magic. Right? And magic needed Bird. Maybe Irad Ortiz needs Jose, and Jose needs Irad.
And last year, it came down to those two, the two brothers. Jose closed with an absolute flurry. I want to say he had something like 24 wins over the last 13 days. He's in the lead right now over his older brother. And, of course, he'll be aboard late tomorrow. Earlier today, it was Old Dubai for Godolphin. Trainer Kieran McLaughlin and Jose Lezcano, the blinkers on, and third time the charm. There's Kieran and Jose celebrating a victory here at Saratoga. We are back on Saturday with the Alabama. Hope you join us. We will see you then.